76ers shocked the Boston Celtics in Game 1 of their series, 119-115. Tonight, it's Steph versus LeBron, Game 1 of the Western Conference Semis. Warriors favored by 4.5 points, and the Texas Rangers have won 3 straight, have a game-and-a-half lead atop the AL West. Tonight, they start a series against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Mike Jimenez.
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Tim Spence.
Victory! Cowboys win!
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on the go at ESPNSA.com. What? We're streaming live on YouTube right now, and I'm actually in the studio. What's going on, Spence?
Wow. Back from a 3-day hacienda in Tampa. You were talking about, the sun's really baking me pretty good. You don't look like you put any sun in that on that skin there.
Well, I was dark to begin with, so that's part of it. But no, I'm a little bit sunburned. Not too bad. But man, this morning was brutal. Had so much fun there, boating there in Tampa, hanging out with my business partner out there.
Trust me, I was I was dreaming I was right there with you.
You told me how jealous you were.
I was very jealous.
You wanted to grab me out of the screen, is what you said.
And swap positions.
Very nice. No, it was fun. I mean, I had never been to Tampa before. But last night, Spence, you told me you can only have Monday off, right? So you have to be back on Tuesday, which means that I had to leave Tampa this morning at 5:10 a.m. That is Eastern time zone, which means it was 4 a.m. over here. I had to get to the airport by 3.
Where's some violins?
2:30 is when the Uber picked me up. Oh, my God. I just landed 2 hours ago. And I'm over here ready to do a show with you.
You didn't sleep on the plane?
Oh, I slept the entire time.
Oh, I'm all about sleeping on the plane, man. If you can give me the window seat, prop me up a little pillow, I'll see you in 2 hours.
Exactly. My wife hates that.
Oh.
Dude, whenever we go on trips, she wants me to be wide awake with her the entire time because she's incapable of sleeping on a plane.
That's her loss.
Yeah. No, but it was so much fun over there doing all the boating, but I came back all scruffed up. I haven't shaved in 3 days.
Yeah,
it's a little bit weird.
First off, if that's a 3-day shadow,
yeah,
dude, are you out of puberty yet? Because that's nothing short of just a mini goatee.
The only thing that shows that it is puberty has passed is that it's half of it's silver, right? Which is weird because the top of my head, I have very little white. I'm 46 years old. You can count the number of white or silver hairs I have on 2 hands. But whenever I grow out the scruff, it's like 50-50. It's salt and pepper. But no, it was a lot of fun out there. I'm happy to be back. Not really. One more day would have been nice. But between my 2 bosses, Spence and Selena Jimenez, I had to come back and do the show on Tuesday.
Your wife couldn't be without you?
No.
I did miss you. Pledge did a great job.
Yeah, I got to talk to you about that, by the way.
What's that?
Because although I did invade the show a couple of times.
Yes. It sounded like we had a lot of fun.
It sounded like you had way too much fun with him.
Are you worried about it?
I was. It was like you're both cheating on me at the same time.
Well, cheating is a interesting way to phrase it, but
we had so much fun.
It was just like 2 kids in a candy store, just loving every second of it. I'd say something, he'd laugh. He'd say something, I'd laugh.
Do you have inside jokes? Because if you do, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, we'd call certain people Grady.
Quit being a Grady.
Quit being a Grady.
No, that was fun. But you know what? I'm glad to be back. But I'm also glad, Spence, that you're back too, because about an hour ago, you almost went on injured reserve. The dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I will let people know we have dogs inside the building a lot from time to time.
Very dog-friendly building and company. And there was a mixed pooch out on the deck. And, I missed my dog back in Denver. So I went out to say hi and immediately bonded with the dog. A very small dog. and just anxious out there, and I wanted to say hi and give us some pets and give us some love. Then all of a sudden, the dog drank a lot of water. There wasn't any water left in the little container. So different from some people who leave their dogs in the rain.
Stop it.
I got up, took the container, went in to fill it up. Now, dogs, when they see an opportunity, they're going to seize it. So the dog makes a run for it. I have the door in one hand. I have the water in another. And I'm not trying to step on the dog. At the same time, grab the dog. And I do a complete, unadulterated nosedive into the tile. Water goes everywhere.
And I wasn't there.
Water goes everywhere. If you can believe it, the left knee is all scraped up and bloody. And but I didn't leave the dog outside. The dog got in, and the dog is fine. I'm a little beat up, but that's really what happens sometimes.
Well, two things. I wish I was there, because my God, I would have laughed my ass off.
It was quite the embarrassment.
But the second thing, though, is I get it, though. I'm not going to fault you for it, because I have 3 dogs at home, and the number of times that I have fallen over because, one of the dogs gets in front of me or goes through my legs or whatever the case may be, it is a hazard to have so many dogs around. But we do have several in the building. I'm going to have to bring my husky, because now we have that courtyard area that's all quartered off. I'm going to see how he handles it. But my husky named Duncan. People were asking me all weekend long, who's taking care of the dogs? My wife was taking care of the dogs. Although I did joke that I just put open a big bag of dog food and I just let it be there for 3 days. No, but glad to be back. We're going to be talking a lot of sports. We do have a poll at Mike ESPNSA, at Spence ESPNSA. That's how you can catch us on Twitter. The polls involving the NBA playoffs, because in the Western Conference, there are a lot of players that are left that, let's just say, Spurs fans hate. And I asked the question, of these players, of the following players that are still in the playoffs, which is the one you least want to win the upcoming NBA Finals? Are you tired of seeing LeBron win? Are you tired of seeing Steph Curry win? What about James Harden, CP3? Which is the one that you hate the most and do not want to win this season? Again, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Mike ESPNSA. Spence is at Spence ESPNSA. Pledger is producing today's show. He's at I Am Pledger. Kilbasa Smoke Meats phone line, 656 ESPN, 656-3776. We're also streaming live on YouTube right now. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star. Now, one thing I'll say about that, though, Spence, I noticed that our subscription numbers are getting higher and higher by the day. I think that's becoming more popular for people to watch us on Twitter.
Absolutely.
I mean, on YouTube, rather.
Absolutely. And, if you play your cards right, I'll show you my little scuffed up leg.
The bruise.
The bruise. That's it's actually not very pretty. I've contacted Workman's Comp, and we'll see how that plays.
Going to stretch that out. Some Erosti.
Big sigh of relief. I thought he was going to say pepperonis.
That's another time, the place.
Pledge.
Another well.
It's so funny because whenever somebody falls down, is your first inclination to go out there and see if they're okay, or is it to laugh? Because I got a feeling that I would have just laughed.
Yeah, a human being, someone that has caring feelings for somebody, would automatically run over and say, "Are you okay?" But other people like you would just sit there and laugh hysterically and then walk away and then tell everybody, "Hey, did you just see what I got?
Yeah,
on my phone. I pulled it out just in time."
Annoying kid running around on the airplane. Face plants in the aisle. You laughing?
I go reach out for the kid to see how he is.
Oh, I'm bellowing laughing.
Well, that's nice. Just really caring. And
I'm still going to check on him, but it doesn't make it less funny.
I'm sure the mom across the aisle is just looking at you going, "Oh, so that's how it is." Okay.
I hope she's laughing too.
Until the kid is crying and she feels like, I'm sure she has a little smile to her face, but still at the same time, a parent is a parent.
Tim Spence, I'm happy, baby. We're back. I'm surprised that Pledge did not play the Reunited and It Feels So Good song, because We are reunited.
And
The three of us.
Just gonna go ahead and ruin the next stop set.
reunited, and I'm not sure it was feels so good, but hey, welcome back. You didn't tell us any fishing stories. I guess you didn't
There was
catch any
nothing to
fish?
catch. There was nothing to catch.
There's nothing to catch.
Oh no, it was funny because
There's
by the time
nothing to catch in Tampa Bay.
No. Okay. So first of all, my friend Joel forever catches fish over there, but he was saying that it's a morning thing over there. In the afternoon, it's a little bit more difficult. We weren't out there fishing for very long. We were only fishing for maybe half an hour or so. It wasn't that much.
Because if you had caught something, you would have stuck
I would
around.
have bragged about it. If it was
Yes.
a 3-inch fish, I would have bragged about
Well,
it.
you're dealing with sardines. First off, what's your problem? If I'm going fishing
You want the
in
shrimp.
the Gulf,
You want shrimp.
I
get it.
want shrimp. I want mullet head. I want, let's see, what's the other one? It's squid.
Yeah.
Is another one. And then little mini crabs.
I'm a novice when it comes to it, but I enjoy it. I enjoy
You
it.
said-
I'll go fishing all the
Yeah,
time.
you said you got a little squeamish putting the sardines on.
No, well, growing up, I used to go fishing with my uncles and whatnot in California. We'd go after rainbow trout out there in California. So I like fishing. I've never been, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever been hunting in my entire life. And Rob Thompson at this point
You with a
is,
gun?
is driving off the road right now because Rob Thompson lives to go hunting. And I'm not saying that I won't go do it. I'm not saying that I oppose it. I'm perfectly fine, happy that people go do it. But no one's ever invited me.
Let me see if I can cut right to the chase here.
Me with a gun?
You with an automatic weapon. Okay. What is wrong with that picture?
So people hunt with automatic weapons? I was not aware of that.
Okay. Semi-automatic.
There you go.
Okay. Whatever. You with a weapon.
I'd be turning the gun sideways for a kill shot.
Yeah.
Like that.
Or you'd be laying down in a blush or a brush full of flowers with your gun, cocked and just a big smile on your face, going for the selfie. I mean, trust me, that's the next one on the list. I'm sure. Almost we're going to see this random picture with you and a gun.
I see a deer out there, and instead of shooting it, I try to take a selfie with it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably why people have not invited me. But do I get a ding if I say it's a big show? Because it is a big show. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys next. It's post-draft. How does the roster stack up against the rest of the NFC? The Houston Texans finally have a franchise quarterback for their future. We're going to talk about the Texans. And then also lots of NBA talk. CP3 hurt again. But SI today released a new power rankings. It's called the post-draft power rankings. How do the Dallas Cowboys stack up according to Sports Illustrated? On paper, I'm going to let you know this, Cowboy fans. You're not going to like what they're going to say. This is Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Viva La Brawl! Friday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo at the Techport Arena. R&R in the Morning have your tickets to see San Antonio's own Castaneda brothers, along with the Navarez versus Heinen fight, Destiny Jones versus Brittany Ordonez, and more. Listen to R&R in the Morning at 7:05, 8:05, and 9:05 for your chance to win. Just listen for the fight bell, and you could be on your way to Viva La Brawl. Plus, one lucky winner will get the ultimate upgrade to VIP ringside seats, along with plenty of swag. Presented by Davies Arena and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Buy tickets at daviesentertainment.com.
My wife was the first to notice I was losing my hair. I thought, I am way too young for this.
At QC Kinetics Hair Restoration, we see men and women of all ages struggling with hair loss. And for Nick, it began when he was just 32 years old.
I didn't really think about it too much until last spring when I got sunburn on my scalp and, I don't know, it wasn't really that hot out.
QC Kinetics uses regenerative treatments, all natural biologics to reignite hair growth without surgery. And the results are amazing.
I felt like I was hopeful, right? But then after the first few treatments, I already started to notice a difference. It just felt real. So I was just more excited to continue the process.
Real results without invasive surgery. And as for Nick's wife,
She loves it. I got my hair back in my early 30s. I want to look my age, and now I do.
schedule your free hair restoration consultation today with QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
I was in a terrible accident with a commercial vehicle. I had to have surgery on my back. My life was turned upside down and I was completely screwed. Then I called the Force, the Davis law firm. Jeff personally handled my case. After expenses and attorney fees, I received $397,988. It's really true. Jeff was here for me.
I'm Jeff Davis. If you were injured by a car or large truck, call me at my San Antonio office at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. There's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter. Locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
This is Chris Canepa with Connecticut. Connecticut, pure coincidence, but kind of cool, don't you think? I get hit with quirky quandaries and questionable catastrophes dealing with hard water calamities all the time. But I feel like King Canepa of Connecticut when I read the kind reviews from the Connecticut clients that love their Connecticut water system and no longer live in hard water calamity. Facts are, if you want to keep your appliances kicking and your kitchen clean and your skin kissable and your hair caressable and your entire home protected from crazy hard water crud, call me, Chris Canepa of Connecticut. For this month, you can save a caboodle of cash. We're closing out all of our current Connecticut models to make room for the new models, which means now is the absolute best time to save money on a Connecticut home water softener for your home. Schedule your free, no-obligation water analysis at 656 Pure or online at connecticutsa.com. Connecticut, 656 Pure.
The last water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The following is a message from the future, sent by Jamie from Progressive.
Back in 2023, you could get help from Progressive online, through our mobile app, or over the phone. But here, in the future, you'll be able to chat with us from space. Maybe you're asking, why are you spending time on insurance in space? Shouldn't you be sculpting something out of moon rocks or jumping around with no gravity? Insurance seems more like a back on Earth kind of thing, right? Actually, in the future, space is no big deal. Errands are totally appropriate.
That was a message from the future. Get the help you need today with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
To every woman with a will and a workbench, every mom with a miter saw she's not afraid to use, every daughter with a drill and the drive, to the women who get their nail guns together, the ones who are welding the gap, the same ones who DIY like no one's watching. At the Home Depot, we see the potential in you because you see the potential in everything. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Hey, it's Joe Reinagle, and this is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, on the go at ESPNSA.com. We're streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star. In about 15 minutes, we're going to have RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of bloggingtheboys.com, to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, but we're going to get into some NFL talk right now. My name's Mike Jimenez. Tim Spence, we're with you till 3 o'clock. Tim, the draft is in the rear view, my man.
Yes, it is. And I think the elephant in the room is why tight end at number 2.
That's a very interesting point, because for all intents and purposes, when you take a look at the grades that they're being given, more often than not, you're seeing some positive reaction to what the Cowboys did. Cowboys in the first round taking Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle out of Michigan. They stayed with the Michigan Wolverine tight end Luke Schoonmaker at number 2, the 58th pick in the draft. DeMarvion Overshone, linebacker from Texas, taken in the 3rd round. Junior Fehoko, defensive lineman from San Jose State in the 4th round. Asim Richards, offensive lineman, North Carolina in the 5th round. Eric Scott, cornerback from Southern Miss in the 6th round. Then finally getting a running back in the 6th round, Deuce Vaughn, the assistant coach's kid, if you will, running back from K-State.
Jalen Brooks rounded out wide receiver in the 7th round. But the Schoonmaker one we talked about a little bit yesterday, and I still am perplexed as to why they let all these other tight ends go that were absolutely legitimate receivers in some form or fashion. And, they go for a pre-draft analysis of Luke Schoonmaker. Uses his strength and savvy to generate late separation running routes. He has the body control to adjust to throws outside his frame. He excels at catching the ball in traffic. Post-analysis, the Cowboys get the starting tight end they so badly needed to on day 2, can step in immediately as a Y tight end, playing in line next to the right tackle. He has some positional versatility to move through the formation. He'll be a rookie starter and make the middle of the field his safety valve.
I'm sorry. It's almost as though the Cowboys did not realize that Darnell Washington was still available. The guy from Georgia. That guy's a big guy. And if Darnell Washington turns into be a solid tight end, which he should be.
Well, look at the 3 tight ends that were taken before him.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the guy from Notre Dame.
Mayer.
From Utah.
Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah. I mean, right there. Okay, well, you have to give up something. Okay, well, great. Move up and get him. If that is really truly where you want to go in your second pick, then get somebody who really is, a sure thing for the season.
Darnell Washington was still there. I can't go back to that. I just keep looking at that going, what did he not prove in college to show that he's worthy of being a starting tight end for the Dallas Cowboys? Now, hopefully this guy from Michigan turns out to be a good player, but my goodness, if Washington just, mans up and plays so well out there, I'm going to be so frustrated on behalf of Cowboy fans when it comes to that. Now, the Cowboys did take Mozzie Smith, the defensive lineman from Michigan, in the 1st round. When we watch the draft, we see the clock, right? It starts at 10 minutes and then it winds down, but we don't know what's going on internally. Are they trying to move up? Are they trying to move back down? It's a very tense 10 minutes. And we got a preview here, if you will, a listen in to what the Cowboys front office, Jerry, Steven, McCarthy, what they were doing at this very last second decision.
I'm ready to take the nose call.
I mean, we have them 1 and 2 together.
You got 2 minutes.
We'll just get warmed up.
Well, who would you take?
Personally, I would go with Mozzie because I know that he helps us now with the guard. I love the guard too. My question is, you're adding something to it where we have depth. I think the defensive lineman gives you an immediate starter and something for the future.
Here, I am cut through if we missed one of those 2 guys after having them both here in our hands.
We're better on the line of scrimmage with either one of these guys.
We've had offensive linemen there. We've had the opportunity to pick them. We've not had a defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman that high in quite some time.
We're good. Let's keep on the phone.
Let's make it so. Jerry and the gang, Steven and the gang, making the decision to take Mozzie Smith.
I think that was a great pick. And, but it doesn't make the draft. You still have some questions. I mean, Pledge and I talked about yesterday. I want to get your opinion. Okay. What about offensive guard? And don't tell me we're going to move players around.
No.
That's where Pledge went yesterday. Well, we'll move this and we'll move that.
That's what they did last year. Tyler Smith went up and down.
Okay.
Left tackle, left guard. Yeah, but on the right side.
They lost 2 of their starters from last year. Okay. So if they lost 2 of their starters from last year, you've got to replace them somehow.
I get what you're saying, but the versatility of this team is actually better on the offensive line compared to most teams. Most teams are very stagnant as to what they can do on the offensive line, but Tyler Smith can show that he can play guard, he can play tackle, he can go all the way to the right side. Tyler Biotish is good. Zach Martin I mean, legendary. Tyron Smith, that is kind of the weak link right there, because it's hard to say that because he's a future Hall of Famer, but this is a guy that's missed about 2/3 of the games the last 3 seasons. But they have to have some faith in Matt Waletzko. Chumi Edoga, who started a lot with the Jets back in the day, maybe they like him and they think to themselves, that's a young guy. We can plug and play that guy. But they did address a little bit Terrence Steele. There's a lot that the Cowboys have done on the offensive line that's there. So I don't want to say that they're going into the season decimated.
I didn't say that.
But they need to look over at Tyron Smith and go, how long is this going to go?
It's not
Because
decimated.
I tell you what, next year, their first round draft pick better be an offensive lineman.
Okay, but let's not worry about next year. We have this year coming up in front of us. Okay, if I have seen anything with what happened to the Eagles, okay, falling backwards into the number 1 draft team in 2023.
Right.
I can't do enough to step up myself and do as much as I can to tit for tat.
The Eagles, just remarkable what they
Wait,
did.
listen, we got the 4th tight end in the draft. Hey, listen, he fell, and you know what? We're gonna show everybody.
To be fair to the Dallas Cowboys,
This is ironic. To be fair to
To be fair, the Cowboys did use some of their draft capital to trade for Stephon Gilmore, star cornerback, defensive player of the year in 2019. They used part of their draft capital to get a wide receiver in Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans. So to me, in some weird sense, that is actually part of the draft because that's what they use their capital for. But I know you hate the phrase on paper. On paper, I think the Cowboys are a very good team. I think they're rounding into form. I think on paper, the Cowboys are a better team than they were when they got knocked out of the playoffs in January. But the thing is that they're playing a very tough schedule this year compared to last year. They can be a better team, but win fewer games. 12-5 back-to-back years. SI.com, Sports Illustrated, released its first post-draft power rankings today. They're saying, now that we know what the draft shaked out, how it all shook out, we're now going to rank these teams based on what they did in the draft, along with their current roster. And I thought to myself, the Cowboys should be top 6, 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there. And SI instead insults the Cowboys and Cowboy Nation. SI this morning says number 1 team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 3, the Bengals. 4, the Bills. 5, the San Francisco 49ers. No telling who the quarterback's going to be. It'll be Brock Purdy when he's healthy. But again, right now they have the Niners at 5. At number 6, Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. 7, Lamar Jackson suddenly in the Baltimore Ravens. 8, the Detroit Lions. And this is where it gets insulting. They have the Lions ranked higher than the Cowboys right now at number 9, the Cowboys. 10, Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
What is their basis for this?
Their basis for this is what on paper, what the rosters look like post-draft.
And be specific, because if you read it, the book is out on Luke Schoonmaker. What do you want me to say? We've been saying this, so we're not going to know until maybe sometime during the season at the earliest, maybe 2 years. But yeah, there's no rational reason outside of something that they know that we don't that makes this a solid second pick. SI thinks it isn't.
Well, what does RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys think? We're going to ask RJ on the other side. RJ, our good friend over here, is going to be talking to us about the Dallas Cowboys. What's up for the team? What else do they need to do to round out the roster? Let's talk about the Cowboys on the other side. 656 ESPN if you want in on the conversation. That's the Kilbasso Smoke Meats phone line, 656 ESPN. We'll be back after this.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Jordan Love and the Packers agreed to a 1-year contract extension worth up to $22.5 million. Tonight at 6, the NBA announces this year's MVP, either Embiid or Joker for the honors. It's game 2. Heat Knicks tonight at 6 on ESPN 1250, while the Rangers D-backs battle tonight at 6:30 right here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Davies Entertainment Viva La Brawl coming to the Techport Arena May 5th, and we have your chance to win your way in. Join the Blitz live tomorrow at Slackers North Star from 3 to 7. Meet and greet with Viva La Brawl fighters Brown Navarez, Brittany Ordonis, and Eddie Ortiz. Happy hour specials and your chance to win free tickets to Viva La Brawl on Cinco de Mayo at the Techport Arena. That's tomorrow at Slackers North Star with the Sports Star and Davies Entertainment crew starting at 3.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
If you own a small to medium-sized business that kept employees on payroll through COVID, you may have a big cash refund waiting for you. The Employee Retention Credit is a tax credit of up to $26,000 per employee. And now, more businesses than ever qualify. The experts at RefundsPro.com specialize in cutting through the red tape of qualifying for this government program. Most of their refunds are over $100,000. Even businesses that have received PPP funds may be eligible. And there are absolutely no fees unless you receive a refund. So there's no reason not to apply. If your business experienced shutdowns, limited capacity, supply chain challenges, or reduced revenue due to COVID, you likely qualify. RefundsPro.com has already helped hundreds of businesses. So don't lose the refund you're owed by missing the deadline. Get started today with a free 5-minute questionnaire at RefundsPro.com. That's refunds with an S, pro.com.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe. Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day.
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
All guests appearing on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star appear on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on the go at ESPNSA.com. Let's talk some Dallas Cowboys. I thought SI completely insulted America's team today. That's got to be the second or third best team in the NFC right now. And SI coming out and saying, no, as of right now, the Cowboys are the 9th best team in the NFL. Insulting.
Well, pinch me, I'm dreaming. I mean, I've lived for this moment, since I've been here in November. And this is my first opportunity to talk to RJ Ochoa on the air and get the inside poop, the knowledge upon knowledge of what in the world the Cowboys were thinking at the second pick.
RJ Ochoa, manager and editor-in-chief of Blogging the Boys. He joins us now on the Buyers Barricade guest line. RJ, how you doing today, my man?
I'm doing really well. I had some beef jerky, some pretzels, and hummus for lunch. So I'm full of nutrients, and I'm excited that the draft is over and that we have a class that we can dive in on and analyze a little bit further.
Did you give a letter grade to the Cowboys as to what they did in the draft?
I did. I'm the only person who does anything like that. It's a really unique and original idea. I gave each pick a letter grade. Some were pluses and some were minuses, but as a whole, I gave the draft class a B. I do feel like there's a negative stigma with B. Like people think of B as like, oh, that's really, that's just like average or whatever. It's really hard. Like I think we make A's disingenuous. There should only be like 1 to 2 A's a year. It's really hard to have your draft class be an A.
Now, is Stephon Gilmore part of your draft analysis there? Because to me, Stephon Gilmore, Brandon Cooks, draft capital was used for them. I consider them part of the draft class in a weird way.
I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I wouldn't do that though. I wouldn't put DeAndre Swift as a part of the Eagles draft class. I mean, I know they executed the trade over draft weekend, whereas Dallas did it, prior to. The draft grade, I think, is as it relates to the players you did all the homework on, the way you played the board, the way you played the league, the way you gambled, the way you lost, the way you won, and the way you fulfilled whatever positions of need you had. And so, yeah, those are awesome moves objectively, but they happened a little bit further back, and so I think they're separate things.
Okay, RJ, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Cowboys decide not to move up, decide to pass on 3 very obvious tight ends that went before. Why was Schoonmaker so, I guess, the right pick at number for the second round with the Cowboys?
I think, what made this draft so interesting was it was in no way chalk relative to what the Cowboys have talked about. And that's a new thing. For the most part, what they've said in the month leading up to the draft has been kind of like the Mordor's map in Harry Potter. Like you've been able to kind of follow it to a T with what they're going to do in the draft. But they bluffed a lot. I mean, they lied. I mean, they told us we're in love with Michael Mayer. We're going to have such a hard time turning him down. He was on board for them at 26, and they said no. And so I think that people marry themselves to one idea or one philosophy and say, you've got to draft for now. You've got to draft for the future. You've got to draft the best player available. When in reality, the truth is somewhere, maybe not 50-50 between, but somewhere in the middle of those two opposite ends. And so I think Luke Schoonmaker represents an answer in the here and now. He is, far and away a superior athlete to any of the tight ends on the current roster. And I think that that's lost. I think people see him and just see Dalton Schultz, just see your kind of run-of-the-mill tight end. I mean, the reality is that, he didn't play, for Tennessee. He didn't play for a team that threw the ball 1,000 times. I think Michigan averaged like less than 26, passing attempts a game. That's just not what they did. And so when you consider how he works and his athletic testing and the fact that he's now the best athlete playing the position for the Cowboys, I think he gives them an option to block on the running game, which is really important for them. And he gives them another option downfield. Everybody is so concerned or is so married to the idea that Jake Ferguson is the answer. When it comes to yards for the catch per reception, and we're talking about a really limited sample size because Jake Ferguson's only been in the NFL 1 year, he averaged like 2.6 yards before the catch per reception. So you're talking about a tight end that was only used on these crossing drag routes. I think Luke Schoonmaker's a guy that can get a little bit more vertical over the middle of the field. And as an athlete, I think he can handle himself a little bit better than some of the other players on the Cowboys roster.
Talking to RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys. So between now and Oxnard, what is the one position area that the Cowboys have to focus on when it comes to we need to get some bodies in and shore up that part of the team?
I mean, you can make an argument for kicker as far as getting bodies in because they really don't have a viable option. I know that's not a sexy answer, but, the Cowboys didn't draft one and they didn't even sign one in undrafted free agency. They did sign Jonathan Garibay last year out of Texas Tech, and everybody thought that he would be the answer, and that kind of blew up in their face. Robbie Gould's the name that everybody wants to focus on, so maybe that is, the direction they ultimately go in. As far as, things they have to figure out, though, I don't think they'll bring in anybody new, but they, everybody thought like they're gonna draft one of these guards really high and get themselves a starting left guard, but they didn't. I mean, they passed on Steve Avila in the first round and reportedly didn't have too high of a grade on him. And they released some war room footage Sunday, where it showed them debating between Mozzie Smith and Matthew Bergeron, the guard who went to the Falcons at the top of the second round. And so they specifically decided that we're good. And then, in fact, in that conversation, Will McClay mentions that they kind of have enough options. So they have to figure out. I mean, and some of this is a good problem. Some of it is a weird problem. Is Tyler Smith going to play at left guard? Is he going to play at left tackle? What does that mean for Tyron Smith? If Tyler is at left tackle, who's your left guard? Is Terrence Steele going to be ready? If he's not ready, then who's playing right tackle? There's an awkward game of musical chairs that has to happen, and some of it is contingent upon health and other parameters like that.
Well, let's focus really on what you just talked about and break it down a little bit better for us, because I'm concerned that they pass on an offensive guard. You can talk about, offensive player that is multifaceted, can play different positions. Maybe there's a player out there that could have been a backup center and that has a guard potential. Bottom line, this offensive line needs support in some form or fashion. You talked about moving, 4 or 5 different pieces to the puzzle. By mid-season, they're going to have challenges. Every team does. So what are they going to be the answers when all of a sudden they're short 1 or 2 players?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on which, it's red pill, blue pill time. Morpheus is offering them to you, and you've got to decide, what adventure you really want. And so do you want to try this Tyron at left tackle thing one more time? Because it is kind of silly to say that, you would start week 1 and put a healthy Tyron Smith on the bench, but you kind of have to do that if you want to put Tyler Smith at left tackle. Now, that being said, if Terrence Steele isn't ready to go week 1, then Tyron is probably playing right tackle. But that's the awkward situation they found themselves in. Tyron's contract that they restructured works out really well for them, and they don't have to pay him a lot of money if he doesn't play. But if he doesn't play, they're obviously down that really, really good offensive lineman. And so I think they have to fully commit, and it sounds like they're willing to commit to Tyler Smith at left tackle. You got to hope and cross your fingers that Terrence Steele is available on the right side. And at left guard, they did sign Chuma Edoga in free agency. They've got Matt Farniok. I mean, they have, 3 or 4 names, and I know that's not an optimistic kind of thing to lean on, but they do have, from a quantitative standpoint, bodies that they can play. And so they did draft a tackle with guard flexibility in the 5th round, and Asim Richards out of North Carolina. One of their higher-rated undrafted free agents, TJ Bass, has some guard potential out of Oregon. And so it could be one of those dudes, but that's probably their biggest hole right now.
I just hope that Schoonmaker at 58, ahead of Torrance, offensive guard from Florida, at 59, does not come back to bite him, though.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair, and you can argue that they made the wrong decision. They reportedly didn't have as high of a grade on Torrance as kind of your consensus mock drafted. And while that maybe doesn't help either of us sleep better tonight, they have a pretty proven track record at evaluating offensive linemen, and they've earned the benefit of the doubt, and that's been a really popular phrase to say over the course of the last week or so. But, they do also have the option of playing Tyler Smith at left guard. And so Again, I find it interesting that they kind of chopped that up all the way up to the draft and that they didn't go down that road. And whether it was gamesmanship, whether it was reacting to the way things went, they seem comfortable at least moving forward with what they currently have.
With RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys, I believe the next big day in the NFL is May 11th. Next week, that's when they release the schedules for all the different teams. We do know that the Cowboys are going to be playing the teams from the AFC East. I'm looking forward to seeing that Buffalo game. Is that Buffalo game going to be in October or is it going to be in December? Big things like that. But for me right now, and if I'm thinking wrongly, let me know about this. But I'm looking at the Cowboys right now, and I personally believe that the team is better now in May compared to what it was in January because of Stephon Gilmore, because of Brandon Cooks, and because of the draft that they had. I think that they're a better team now. But the schedule is going to be so much harder compared to what it was last year that, in my opinion, we could see a team that is actually better on the field, but might not win 12 games. Do you see that as a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really fair. And for what it's worth, I mean, to your point, they visit Buffalo. So, I mean, when that game is a big factor just because of weather conditions. And that's not the case with other games. But, yeah, I mean, sorry to pledge, but the Cowboys were fortunate to play the AFC South last year, which was the worst division in the NFL. And so the whole NFC East did. And I don't think that's a coincidence with at least partly why there were 3 teams from the NFC East in the playoffs. And to be fair, all of them won a playoff game at the very least. There were 3 of the Final 4 teams in the divisional round on that side. But yeah, I mean, you got to play the AFC East, and the Jets got better. The Dolphins are still lurking. The Patriots are always Patriots, and the Bills are really tough. I mean, you got to play the NFC West this year. I mean, the Cardinals look really bad, but the Rams figured to bounce back. The Niners have the Cowboys number, and the Seahawks have one of the best drafts of anybody in the class. Now, you don't have to play the first place schedule that you had to play last year, but you got to play the Lions. They're a very good team. You got to Michael Jimenez's Saints, and we all know that they can get cute once or twice in a while. And then,
Justin Herbert.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. That's the thing. You got to play the Chargers too. And so you just never know how things are going to break. Sometimes you get lucky. I mean, when are you going to play certain teams, or are guys going to be back from injury or whatever? But yeah, I think that they're a better team. I think that they've closed the gap with the Eagles. I think regression will come for the Eagles in some senses, but I think it'll come for the Cowboys too. I mean, they did not suffer at the hands of regression last year as far as takeaways and sacks. I thought they were totally due to suffer for that. And it seems like they did adjust for that. That's why, I think a lot of people are so high on them. They've proven that they're a team who can, be a playoff team 2 years in a row, which is a super low bar to clear. But they're trying to restore some order after 3 decades of futility.
That is RJ Ochoa, manager and editor-in-chief of Blogging the Boys. Thanks for being with us, my man.
Yeah, and
Miss you, RJ.
And don't forget RJ on every Friday morning, 7:30 and 9:30 with R&R in the morning. His new time, 7:30, 9:30, R&R in the morning. Thanks again, buddy.
Thanks a lot. I hope one of you has a bag of famous cookies from the vending machine.
Very nice.
Take care.
RJ was on the Buyers Barricade guest line. Buyers Barricade provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricade.com. Kielbasa Smoke Meats phone line is 656-ESPN, 656-3776. We'll take some calls on the other side, talk more about the NFL, talk about Pledgers, Houston Texans. This is Jimenez and Spence on 94.1.
Why?
San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe, today at 3.
Coming up at 3 on The Blitz, what were the Cowboys thinking? Will McClay knows. We'll ask him.
Yep, the Cowboys VP of Player Personnel will join us at 4:30, plus Shireen Williams at 5:30. The Blitz starts at 3.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe, today at 3 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Inflation has pushed up the cost of just about everything, which means if you bought life insurance a few years ago, it might not be enough to protect your family today. Now is the time to get the insurance you need at a price you can afford. In a hurry? Don't worry. Call Select Quote now and get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam. That's right. You can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam in under an hour.
Call Select Quote at 1-800-613-8990. That's 1-800-613-8990. Or go to SelectQuote.com now and get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam. That's 1-800-613-8990. Or go to SelectQuote.com now.
Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercial.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Live on the Zone pay-per-view, the King is coming home. Undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez returns to his city to defend his titles against John Ryder. It's all on the line. Witness the historic homecoming May 6th, live only on DAZN pay-per-view. Sign up at DAZN.com.
It's back! The Superhero Comic Con and Car Show presented by Thomas J. Henry, July 7th through the 9th in San Antonio at the Freeman Expo Halls. Meet stars like Captain Marvel's Brie Larson, Game of Thrones star Kit Harington, Hawkeye's Haley Steinfeld, and many more celebrities. See comic book artists, enjoy daily concerts, experience the Hollywood Car Show, pop culture vendors, and much more. Tickets on sale now at pmxevents.com.
Maybe it's time to ask your checking account. What have you done for me lately? My Advantage Checking from Generations Federal Credit Union does more. My Advantage Checking pays you 2 days early, plus shopping rewards, identity protection, and much more. My Advantage Checking treats you right. So make the switch. Learn more at Generations Federal Credit Union. Member owned, community grown. Member eligibility requirements apply for UA.
You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Don't know what was more annoying over the commercial break, hearing Pledger go on and on and on about the Houston Texans and all the pickups they've made.
Oh, that was very annoying.
Or
hearing
you slurp down whatever you had for lunch. You inhaled your lunch in a 4-minute commercial break.
It's spaghetti.
While
and
talking with your mouth full.
Spaghetti and meatballs. You know how I like Italian. I've said this before. I've had people ask me when I ran out one time, kind of go, use the little boys' room. Yeah, did that Italian come back to bite you? Yeah, I like Italian.
Are you supposed to slurp it like that? That is just bizarre.
Okay, I don't know that I ever have gone down the path of how annoying when you eat your food is, because you will inhale the same damn thing.
Well,
you're the amount of spaghetti and meatballs you had
The other
the other day, and you then you had a gut bomb going on during the show. Oh, I ate too much. Well, hello. I just happen to have one of these, healthy versions where
But
it
you
just
eat-
enough. It was just enough to get in within 4 minutes. And yes, did I eat a little bit fast? Sure. But what can I say,
You
man?
eat into the microphone. I can hear it all. That's the
What are you talking
thing.
about? I was eating all we're in the
That's exactly what I heard for like 4.5 minutes straight.
during a break?
Yes,
How could
during
you
the
hear
break.
that? How could you hear that during the
During the break.
And then I heard, oh, talking about the tacos.
That is James Pledger producing today's show. So earlier we were talking about the fact that I believe that the Dallas Cowboys were kind of disrespected this morning by SI.com. They released their first post-draft power rankings, and they list the Cowboys at number 9,
and
behind the Jets, behind the Detroit Lions. But on that list, at number 32, dead last, the Houston Texans. Is that kind of insulting as well, Spence? Or are they truly the worst team in the NFL still?
Why would they be the worst team in the NFL?
That's my point. Why are they listed at number 32? All the pickups that they've had. I'm not going to say that the Houston Texans are going to go off and be a 500 team.
Well, you're giving SI all this credit, and once again that they throw stuff to the wind just to get people to talk, just to people to do the downloads, just to people to go check them out. How could SI put Texas at 32 or the Texans at 32? Oh my gosh, blah blah blah. Yeah, and because they want the hits.
At 31, they have the Arizona Cardinals. At 30, the Washington Commanders. Making your way up, number 29, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Beautiful city. Beautiful city. 28, the Denver Broncos. But
it's worth 30 wins alone. It's a beautiful city.
The Houston Texans are a team that came out, was 3-13-1. Second worst record in the league last season. But all the names that they picked up this year, now we know that they got CJ Stroud, number 2 out of Ohio State. They traded up to go get Will Anderson at number 3, which was amazing that they did that. They pick up Dalton Schultz, tight end, good tight end. Devin Singletary in the backfield now with Dameon Pierce. Sheldon Rankins, they picked up a defensive tackle. Noah Brown, who again, he's not going to be a star wide receiver, but
you're making him out to
be a wide receiver 3.
Okay, you're making him out to be like the second coming.
Safety,
when it was with the Cowboys, you're like, Noah Brown, oh my gosh, they should get rid of him. All of a sudden with the Texans, well, he could be a wide receiver 3.
Yeah,
maybe work up to a wide receiver 2. It's like you're playing to the third person in this conversation.
No.
That is a Texans fan, and he's fed you with some fodder for conversation. Do I think they belong at the 31? No, not at all. Okay. Do I think they're mid-pack after the draft? Yeah, mid-pack.
The AFC is so strong. They're going to have a losing record, right? They're going to have a losing record.
How do you know that?
But I think because it's very rare. We
They
don't
got
know who the starting quarterback is
the
going to be.
worst schedule.
Is CJ Stroud going to be the quarterback, or is it be Case Keenum?
They have the worst strength of schedule, dude. I mean, how could he not get 4 or 5 wins out of that?
No, I'm thinking that they'll cap out at 7. If I had a bet on it, I'd say that they'd go from a 3-win season to a 5-win season and be competitive in a few games that they lose at the end.
3 to a 5.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
Well, it is, but if they go 3 to 5, then something's gone wrong. I got them going 500.
Well, it's impossible now with 17 games. So are we talking about 8-9 or 9-8?
Okay, close enough.
8-8-1.
8-1. They've done that before. But other names that they picked up, Case Keenum at quarterback, safety Jimmy Ward, baby, running back Mike Boone. They've got some pretty decent players out there. Hassan Ridgeway. There's a lot of good things happening in Houston, and I think more than anything else, it's the fandom behind it. Now, real fast.
What do you mean the fandom?
The fans being really excited about.
Why would you not be excited?
Yeah.
They're the most exciting team going into, outside of the Eagles, going into the 2023 season.
Now, before we go to break, let's go to the Kielbasa Smoke Beats phone line. We've got Gary, who's been patiently waiting. Spence has been really critical about the second-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys. Schoonmaker, the tight end out of Michigan. We got Gary wanting to talk about it. What's up, Gary?
Well, I agree with Spence. I don't know what the Cowboys were drinking in that headquarters when they drafted Schoonmaker or Schoonmaker, whatever. It didn't make any sense. I was using an analogy. It's like you got parts broken on your car, you need new brakes, and then you go and fix your air conditioning. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now, if you switched those and you had taken Schoonmaker in the third and you're taking an offensive lineman in the second, I would be okay with that. But just thinking outside the lines, I'd be willing to bet you at the end of this USFL and XFL season, the Cowboys are going to start looking for an offensive lineman and a field goal kicker in there somewhere. San Antonio's got a pretty good field goal kicker.
That's right.
They got a pretty good field goal kicker.
That is Gary
right.
on the Kielbasa Swopies phone line. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for listening. Again, the Cowboys still have players to pick up between now and Oxnard when summer camp starts. But we're taking a look at some stats that RJ Ochoa was talking about. He was basically saying that the Cowboys tight ends from last season weren't going very deep in catching the ball. They were doing little slants, getting the ball 2 yards off the line of scrimmage. Well, guess what? Same thing goes with Schoonmaker. That's what he did in Michigan as well. So I don't know how much of an improvement this was.
I can't wait to see him over the middle, man.
Yeah, he averaged 2.15 yards per route.
There we go.
There you go, baby.
There he goes.
Second round draft pick.
Shoemaker.
Darnell Washington was still available. We went that way.
For 2 yards. Hey, here's what we do. We don't bring back Zeke, and we throw to Shoemaker because he can do 2 yards at a time and throw him for touchdowns, and we'll still get all the padded touchdowns this time with Shoemaker.
Sounds like a plan to me, baby.
But you're the one. Everyone's talking about bringing Zeke back. You don't want to bring Zeke back now?
I would love it for the drama.
Oh!
To quote our good fellows at R&R in the morning, storylines over integrity. I'd be all about it. We're going to 3 o'clock here on Jimenez and Spence. When we come back, guess what? Let's see. It's May. You know what that means? Chris Paul III is injured again. I don't want to hear any talk anymore.
38, 39?
Yeah, 28-year-old was also getting hurt. But we'll talk about this whole CP3 because I believe Tony Parker was the better point guard. Jimenez and Spence returns on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Jimenez and Spence. Jimenez and Spence. KTFM, Floresville. And always at ESPNSA.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Green Bay Packers reached a one-year extension with quarterback Jordan Love just 1 week after trading Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets. It's a $22 million deal. Big game tonight for the New York Knicks as they try to even up their series against the Miami Heat. They got to stop Jimmy Butler first. And tonight, the MVP award will be announced by the NBA. Sixers Joel Embiid considered the favorite.
Mike Jimenez.
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Tim Spence.
Victory! Cowboys win!
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hour number 2 of Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. As always, on the go at ESPNSA.com. We're streaming live on YouTube right now. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star.
Or streaming live.
There you go. I said a different word. It felt weird. I'm still in Florida. I'm still in Florida. I'm still in Florida in my mind right now. I'm still floating on the boat.
If I had done what you did, I still would have that on the centerpiece of my mind. I would not be sitting there talking sports. I would have fishing on my brain.
Dude, it has been a long morning. I flew in from Florida this morning, landed around 10 a.m. at San Antonio International Airport, and raced on over here to do this show. Now, Spence, about 10 minutes before the show started, my wife sent me a text message. She says, babe, I want to go to Paris.
Welcome back. Hey, listen, I need to talk to you. Really important. Okay, what do you want to talk about? I want to go to Paris. Oh, okay, great. Listen, I'm getting ready for a show. Maybe you talk about this later on tonight.
10 minutes before the show started, I want to go to Paris. Now, which is weird because I've been to Paris before. I went to Paris in college. right? So I was 20, 21 years old when I went to Paris.
You sure you can get the time off for that?
Oh, again, I don't ask for vacation time. I just tell people when I'm not going to be in because PTO stands for prepare the others. But that being said, my wife has never wanted to go anyplace international before, right? So we went to Jamaica this past December, and it was the first time that we'd ever done anything like that together. My wife and I have been together for 12 years. And I always tell her, let's go to England. Let's go to somewhere. Let's save up some money for a year or two and go someplace pretty cool. So she said in a text message, babe, I want to go to Paris. Let's go to Paris in 2025. ... Let's take Ava, our daughter.
2025. Dude, we're not even out of 23 yet. We're talking about 25.
Well,
I'm happy to go back for, 4th of July to go back to Denver for a few days. We're talking 2025, go to Paris.
Well, get this. She just learned that it's a spring break trip for my daughter who's now going to be going to middle school. So I said, who do we be going with? I'm thinking that she's going to want to go with like her friends, go ask some couples over there. No, she's like, no, let's take our daughter over there. The most romantic city in the world. She wants me to take my daughter, who at that point will be 12 years old. Really? Really?
You're going to get a room right outside the Eiffel Tower?
I know. And my daughter's going to be there looking for Netflix while I'm trying to get romantic.
Well,
like
if you're going to Paris and you're spending more than a couple bucks, you get a suite and you get 2 rooms.
The adjoining room, right?
Okay. So when you got to get busy and the room be rocking, don't worry about it. She won't be knocking.
No, that's not how that works in Hispanic families. My daughter will jump in bed with my wife, and I'll be the one in the side room watching Netflix. What are you doing? Why is it so loud in there?
Is everything okay?
Parlez-vous français?
Housekeeping, you want me a foot pillow?
That's nice. I like that. Little Chris Farley throwback there. But yeah, so my wife is going to throw that at me. So I don't even know what the price is going to be, but I know it's going to be expensive. So she's giving me a 2-year warning when it comes to it.
It's just only you, man. Only you. I take a different approach towards life. I'm concerned about what am I do July 4th weekend here by myself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about going to Paris in 2 years. What is wrong with that picture?
Mm-hmm. Now, this weekend, I will be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm flying over there, getting my daughter, bringing her back home. My daughter is in Baton Rouge because, well, that's where she goes to school. Go Tigers. No, but I'll be flying into Baton Rouge on Saturday night, driving back on Sunday. So I'll be groggy again come Monday when it's time to do the show, but it's summer break for my daughter. She's got 1 semester left, just 3 classes, and she graduates. And she's still just 19 years old, but she'll graduate with her bachelor's degree at 20. Not too bad. Not too bad. Hey, Kielbasa Smoke Beats phone line, 656-ESPN, 656-3776. We've been talking a lot about the Dallas Cowboys and Spence being pissed off that they took a tight end from Michigan, who, by the way, caught just 28.6% of the contested targets he saw. Second rounder written all over him. Darnell Washington of Georgia was still on the board. Still on the board.
Not to mention a guard from Florida taken right after.
Osiris Torrance.
There you go. Osiris Torrance.
Did I not tell you that when you take a pick, look at the next 3 players that come off the board and say, did I miss somebody? Hello.
Yeah, they missed Darnell Washington. If they got Darnell Washington and done everything else, that would have been a better class. But Schoonmaker, he better perform out there. We've got Nico on the Kielbasa Smoke Beats phone line. What's going on, Nico?
Hey, no, I was calling about the Schumacher, man. I think he's a lot better than what everybody's giving him. I mean, his 40 time was a 4.63 as a tight end. I mean, dude, this guy's got speed. And then the times that I was watching him, I only saw highlights. I'm not going to say I sat here and watched games. But, dude, he took over some of the games that he was in where he was blocking, going out for 5-yard outs, 3-yard outs. I mean, going up the field, catching touchdowns, 15 yards down the field. I mean, he was he seemed like the Dalton Schultz of Michigan. I don't know. I understand I'm probably going a little bit overboard because, highlights show only the best. But he looked really good against everybody he played against, especially, even though he had a few catches in the national championship game that he played in.
That is Nico on the Kilbasa Smoke Meats phone line. They're trying to get excited. They're trying to get excited about this guy. I don't see it yet, man. I don't see it yet because prove it out there. Prove that you're better than the current tight ends right now on this team. Hendershot. Prove that you're better than anybody else on the roster. You're going to go out there and say that this guy is going to be like the starter from week 1, day 1. He better be. You just spent a second-round draft pick on the guy.
I'm looking at, as an example, NFLDraftBuzz.com, who ranks everybody when it goes to tight end. Michael Mayer, number 1. Your Darnell Washington, number 2, who is still on the board. Dalton Kincaid, 3. Let's see, 4, Luke Musgrave, tight end. Let's see, Tucker Kraft, another tight end at 5. Sam Laporta at 6. Not till number 7 do they have Luke Schoonmaker.
Well, come on, man. 35 receptions for 400 yards. You got to get him in the second round. That's the only sticking point I have with this draft right now. Yes, even though I even like the pickup of the 5'5" running back. Okay, that's perfectly fine for me. But man,
but the 5'5" running back
produced in college.
Okay, because he played at TCU. How about the fact that his dad is a coach for the Cowboys? Is it all about the emotional ties or a running back that can contribute?
No, hopefully that they can contribute. So yes, his dad's a Cowboys scout, but at the end of the day, he did produce in college over at K-State. He is a good player. But he's 5'5".
We're so wrapped up in the emotional aspect of, look at the Warman. And I'm not saying it's not a good touch and feel. Okay. I'm not saying that it's not absolutely a warm and fuzzy for the family, for just, it brings a whole different perspective to the draft. But what gets lost in translation, they forget really fast about, okay, what was Schoonmaker? He was the 7th of all the tight ends available, and you took him at 2nd pick? Okay, we'll see.
That's the one pick that sticks out as a reach for the Dallas Cowboys. When we come back, let's talk about the NBA playoffs, because a couple of things. Chris Paul hurt again, and tonight it's going to be Steph against LeBron. Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. Talking to NBA, Jimenez and Spence, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Viva LeBron! Friday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo at the Techport Arena. R&R in the Morning have your tickets to see San Antonio's own Castaneda brothers, along with the Navarez versus Heinen fight, Destiny Jones versus Brittany Ordonez, and more. Listen to R&R in the Morning at 7:05, 8:05, and 9:05 for your chance to win. Just listen for the fight bell, and you could be on your way to Viva LeBron. Plus, one lucky winner will get the ultimate upgrade to VIP ringside seats, along with plenty of swag. Presented by Davies Arena and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Buy tickets at daviesentertainment.com.
We're here with Jose of the Gomez Law Firm. Jose, tell us a little about what makes the Gomez Law Firm different from all the other law firms in our area.
We pride ourselves as being an open line of communications. We don't have an automated service. You're not going to ever dial our phone number and get some robot on the other line. You're always going to get a person 24/7. Our principal office is here in San Antonio, and we don't only say principal office because our main office is here. We say it because, again, Mr. Gomez was born and raised here, practicing law here in San Antonio in his community for almost 50 years. There are not many attorneys that can say that. If you've been injured, if you've been involved in an accident, you've been involved in a car wreck, call the Gomez Law Firm. We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The XFL Championship game is here, and the league goes from 8 teams to 2. In a league of dreams and opportunities, there's only one chance to be a champion. The road to the 2023 XFL Championship ends in San Antonio. The best of the North versus the best of the South. The DC Defenders versus the Arlington Renegades. Who will emerge the winner? The 2023 XFL Championship game, Saturday, May 13th at 7 p.m. at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Tickets on sale now starting at $25. Visit xfl.com/tickets.
Smoker's Paradise, your premium smoke shop. Fully stocked to shop everything you need for your smoking needs under one roof. Vaporizers, disposable e-cigarettes, hookah accessories, water pipes, cigars, and more. With 13 area locations, including the newest location at Callahan and I-10. Visit smokersparadise.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Looking for a protein-packed snack to power you through the day? Of course you are. Only Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors you crave. Spicy dill, Korean kimchi, pasilla chili cheese, and more. Take your snacking to a whole new level with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. And keto fans, you're going to love this low-carb crunch. Get yours at H-E-B and online at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Gold. If you've been thinking of how to secure the value of your assets and grow your wealth, think gold. Think Noble Gold. Hi, Jason Minix here for NobleGoldInvestments.com. After the latest bank failures and other economic news that could devalue the dollar, gold is a safe investment to secure your wealth. And if you're not sure what to do, that's not a problem. Go to NobleGoldInvestments.com. They'll walk you through everything. They will email you their gold and silver investors guide. Do this. Go look at the price of gold in 1970 up until today. It was about $35 an ounce, and the long-term trend will blow you away. A lot of folks wish they would have bought back then in an IRA or even physical gold. Don't wish you did this down the road. Take the time to go to the website today. Go to NobleGoldInvestments.com. You're welcome to use promo code STAR for a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin they're offering people that qualify. NobleGoldInvestments.com. Mark it down to do today. NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Cowboys are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The best rivalry of this generation. Brian was able to do like 1 to 9 straight finals. Obviously, Steph and those guys, what they were able to do with those 4 championships, like that's the rivalry of the generations, particularly those 2 players. But it's going to be another fun battle.
Lakers head coach Darvin Ham calling Steph versus LeBron the best rivalry of this generation. Might be right. They're playing each other tonight in the Western Conference semifinals, game 1 between the Golden State Warriors and the LA Lakers. The ratings will be through the roof the entire series. You have Steph, who has won 4 rings, LeBron, who has won 4 rings, one of those guys is going to be in the Western Conference conference finals.
It is the must-watch, must-see. You can't get enough of it. Question begs, who are you tired of between those two entities?
We have a poll on Twitter at Mike ESPNSA, at Spence ESPNSA, asking the question, who do you not want to see win a title this year? And we narrowed it down to 4 people. One is Steph Curry and Clay and Draymond by extension, right? LeBron James, Anthony Davis for the Lakers. Do you not want to see James Harden, or do you not want to see Chris Paul III? Harden's never won one. CP3's never won one either. And as of right now, 36%, the leading vote getter, 36% saying they don't want to see LeBron and Anthony Davis. 34% right behind them don't want to see Steph, Clay, and Draymond.
I'm not sure why the close separation between the two, but I am all in on the Lakers. One more I will not be able to take. I will not be able to stand the arrogance, the ego. If I see LeBron travel one more time on his way to the hoop, because he gets away with it because he's LeBron.
I was okay when it was 3 steps. Kind of pissed off, but okay with it.
Why 3 steps?
It's gotten to be where we've seen plays where he's done 6 steps. No lie, 6 steps, and not call for anything. Go from the midcourt line to a dunk in 6 steps, like it was a slam dunk competition.
And then he poses right after.
Yes.
I mean,
it's frustrating as a Spurs fan watching this, because if either of these two guys goes on to win, right now, Tim Duncan has scoreboard over both of these guys, because Tim has 5 rings, LeBron has 4, and you have Steph Curry have 4. If Steph Curry wins number 5, he's elevated so high in the all-time rankings of the greatest NBA players of all time that I would say this, he'd probably leapfrog over Tim Duncan. And it pains me to say that. I think right now, you can make the argument that Tim Duncan is the greater player as of right now. 5 rings versus 4. A lot of the accolades are the same. But at the same time, if it goes 5-5, Curry's going to go down as a top 10 player of all time, maybe higher than
why
Tim.
hold it against him because of Duncan? I mean, it's
because that's how we measure ourselves here in San Antonio when it comes to it all. The slight that the Spurs get about, well, it wasn't a dynasty because they didn't go back to back. Like, yeah, but they won 5 titles. They won in 03, 05, and 07. That's 3 in 5 years. That is a dynasty right there. But it's the recognition that teams have. People are asking the question online, is Steph Curry the greatest point guard of all time? Who are the others out there? You have Magic, you have Isaiah, you have Stockton, Chris Paul III. People will mention these names out there. I'm going to say no, because I never considered Steph Curry to be a point guard. Because when I hear point guard, I think of somebody who passes the ball and runs the offense in a certain way. Steph Curry, if you close your eyes and say, Steph Curry is doing something, what is he doing? He's shooting the 3. The guy is a shooter. And he's one of the greatest players of all time. Right now, easily in the top 15. Wins another ring, he's in the top 10, top 7 category. And it's hard to refute that. This dynasty that the Warriors have created has been amazing. LeBron, though, what happens if he goes to the finals again and loses again? I mean, how many L's can you rack up if you're LeBron and still be considered to be one of the greatest of all time?
How can you imagine? I can't even see them making it past the Western Conference Finals. They're an old and tired team.
Right.
The Warriors should win this series. They have too many weapons compared to what the Lakers have.
They do, but the Lakers have Austin Reeves, for some reason, is balling out these days. Anthony Davis seems relatively healthy right now.
Until he isn't.
Until he isn't. I know. He has that Chris Paul in him, right? But right now they're healthy enough, and they've got Rui Hashimura, who's been playing very well in the playoffs. This team right now, man, that Lakers team's a little bit dangerous. But LeBron James has been to the finals 10 times already. He's won 4. So he's 4-6 in the finals. So whenever you try to put these guys in a historical perspective, it's very difficult for me because what is greater? Tim Duncan being 5-1 in the finals or LeBron being 4-6?
I don't know how you can.
It's hard to compare the two.
I don't know how and why you want to compare the two.
Because we always talk about Mount Rushmores or the top 5 lists, the top 10 lists. And what I don't want is for Duncan to be booted out of the top 10 list in the eyes of many people. Right now, if anybody gives a top 10 list and leaves Tim Duncan out, they're wrong. Because he's up there. He's up there. Greatest power forward of all time. But man, if Steph Curry gets one more, you elevate him over Magic Johnson.
That's because he played on a team with multiple weapons.
So did the Lakers. Worthy's a Hall of Famer. Byron Scott was a great player. Pat Riley is a Hall of Fame coach.
Well, you just went from Tim Duncan to Magic Johnson.
Trying to compare point guard to point guard. See, and that's the thing about it, is that I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to like basketball positions. Right now there's smalls and bigs. Magic Johnson was not necessarily a point guard. He ran the offense, but he wasn't a point guard. Same like Steph Curry. They're kind of very similar in what they do. Magic could play multiple positions. Famously played center in the finals one time. I'm just looking at a historical perspective of what's going on in the NBA, and my goodness, Steph Curry is going to go down as one of the all-time greats already.
But you can't hold that against him.
No, I'm not going to hold it against him.
No, but you're trying to make us feel like that shouldn't happen, because then all of a sudden, in your eyes, the Tim Duncans of the world get kicked to the curb or get kicked down the list. It's called evolution. It's called time passing. It's called the development of a league. Who's the next Steph Curry coming out that's going to push Steph Curry down the list? It's going to happen.
Again, the game is tonight. Game 1.
You're not going to answer that?
No, I'm getting frustrated. Not by you. I'm getting frustrated by the situation. I'm getting frustrated by the fact that there's going to be a love fest of either LeBron or Steph Curry.
It's going to be sickening.
The NBA wants them so bad. One of those teams in the finals wants it so bad. Denver, though, 2-0 over the Phoenix Suns, man. The Phoenix Suns wet the bed in the fourth quarter last night. Real fast, death, taxes, the certainties of life. Chris Paul III getting injured in the playoffs. So he had a groin injury. Walks off the court, grabbing his junk. That's the injury for 2023. Today we'll find out how severe that injury is.
Cruel, man. The guy pulled his groin, man. Have you ever had a groin pull?
No, but you almost did petting a dog earlier today.
Yes, I've had a groin pull playing sports a few times in my life.
I've had a groin pull.
It's not fun.
I had one playing
and
tennis.
You're making light of it. I mean, you've come back from this vacation just with a forked tongue.
It's always something with Chris Paul, man. Going back in time, 2022, an adductor strain, right? 2021, shoulder injury. 2018, hamstring strain. 2016, he broke his hand. 2015, another hamstring strain. This guy just breaks down every April and May. Clockwork every time.
Load management, man. They're just overworking them.
And everybody's like, oh, he's one of the greatest point guards of all time. He's up there with Magic and up there with John Stockton. I'm like, dude, he's not even Tony Parker. Tony Parker played in the he won 4 rings. And I know he played with Duncan, he played with Manu. But at the same time, look at who CP3 has played with his entire career. He's played with a lot of good players. CP3 is a complete fraud in the playoffs. An absolute fraud. And I was trying to bait Rudy J into an argument about it early today. He did not take the bait. I was so frustrated. But the fact that Rudy did not take the bait, and the fact that I posted the whole on Twitter today, Tony Parker is greater than CP3. All the CP3 defenders over the years either A, did not see that post, or B, they're ignoring that post because they know that I'm right. Chris Paul III, a fraud. I'm waiting for the news to hear, oh, he's out 6 to 8 weeks, so he's done for the playoffs. I'm going to be like, yeah, and water's wet. No crap.
How do you feel? Really?
How do I really feel? Why is my blood pressure up? Speaking of blood pressure, that poll where it's asking about LeBron, Steph, Clay, Draymond, who do you not want to see? I would say that the person that I do not want to see ever win a ring is James Harden. But my God, he was amazing last night. Let's talk about James Harden, what he did out there, and why San Antonio hates him so much. Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Jordan Love and the Packers agreed to a one-year contract extension worth up to $22.5 million. Tonight at 6, the NBA announces this year's MVP, either Embiid or the Joker for the honors. It's Game 2, Heat Knicks tonight at 6 on ESPN 1250, while the Rangers, D-backs, they battle it out tonight at 6:30 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's Michael Jimenez with Jimenez and Spence, weekdays 12 to 3. People ask all the time, how can we become part of the San Antonio Sports Star family? Well, if you have a business, reach out to us for sponsorship opportunities. You can advertise with San Antonio Sports Star with all of our talent here. Reach out to Morgan Harrison at morgan.harrison@alphamediausa.com. After that, she will get you in touch with one of our professional sales reps and get you going. Again, reach out to Morgan Harrison at morgan.harrison@alphamediausa.com.
The XFL playoffs are here, and the league goes from 8 teams to 2. In a league of dreams and opportunities, there's only one chance to be a champion. The road to the 2023 XFL Championship ends in San Antonio. The best of the North versus the best of the South. Who will emerge the winner? The 2023 XFL Championship game, Saturday, May 13th at 7 p.m. at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. XFL history will be made. Tickets are on sale now, starting at $25. Visit xfl.com/tickets.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save on the brands you trust. Right now, save up to $50 on select Tough Built products, including the new exclusive Tough Built Steel Head Framing Hammer. Plus, you'll always save big on job lot quantities when buying select building supplies in bulk. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Must ask cashier to apply discount at time of purchase. Online discount is automatically applied in cart. See Lowe's.com or associate for more details and qualifying items. Lowe's reserves the right to limit quantities. Discount taken at time of purchase. Valid through 5/5.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A20 part.
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingarone, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost mobile store for details.
Are your investments going nowhere? Here's a tip that always pays big dividends. Invest in yourself, your talent, your smarts, your skills. Maybe it's time to make that investment and start a career in IT or upskill to boost your current career. At My Computer Career, you can bank on us. We'll help you get the right skills and the right certifications to start or advance your IT career. IT keeps growing, so go with the growth at My Computer Career. The right training, the right timing, the right career. Invest in you at mycomputercareer.edu. Start now.
Hey, did you know nacho fries are back at Taco Bell? But they're not going to hang around forever. So don't wait, or you might miss out on these hot, crisp fries covered in all those bold Mexican spices with delicious nacho cheese sauce. Or wait and just settle for flavorless fries. Regular, bland, spiceless, flavorless, flimsy, non-nacho fries. Just an absolute bummer of a fry.
Nacho fries are back. Get them today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation which vary.
Next up, straight talk from Doug. Ever noticed that saying no offense is offensive? Like, no offense, but you're overpaying for your wireless. See? Offensive.
That's the Straight Talk talking. Get unlimited plans as low as $35 a month from Straight Talk on America's most reliable 5G network. Available at Walmart and Walmart.com. On the $35 plan, first 10 gigabytes data at high speed, then 2G speeds. Refer to the latest terms at straighttalk.com based on most first place rankings, root metrics, second half 2022 assessments of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement.
All guests appearing on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star appear on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control rental and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star. My name's Mike Jimenez. That is Tim Spence. We're talking sports and pissing off our producer, James Pledger, along the way. Spence.
I live to piss him off.
During the commercial break, you walked out, and Pledger came up to me and was like, dude, I don't get it. I don't understand San Antonio's hatred for James Harden. James Harden might be the most hated NBA player in San Antonio that is not named Zaza Pachulia.
Why is that?
It's just a weird thing. It's a weird set of circumstances because when he started out with Oklahoma City Thunder, and then he made his way to the Houston Rockets, and he was just kind of just a very, it's hard to explain. I just look at James Harden, I get mad. Maybe it's the beard. I don't know what it is.
Well, that is the ugliest, the weirdest looking beard in the history of beards. I mean, at least trim the damn thing up.
Part of it is that James Harden has always been a quitter. And he's been a rival to the Spurs in the sense that OKC and San Antonio battled each other in the early 2010s. And then you had the fact that he played for a rival team in the Rockets. And then he goes off and he becomes a mercenary trying to get a ring someplace else, whether it goes to Brooklyn, goes to Philadelphia. At this point, he's a mercenary trying to get a ring. And it just wasn't respected by a lot of Spurs fans. The greatest moment for me, my favorite moment when it came to Manu Ginobili, was that block that he had on James Harden, 1 3-point shot in the playoffs. And it's iconic. It's so iconic that when you walk into the studio, we have a photo of it up on our wall. So it's that photo right there, Manu Ginobili stuffing James Harden. One of the greatest moments as a Spurs fan ever.
That's his dunk over Bosch.
Oh, my bad. My bad. No one had to know that. No one had to know that.
Yeah, they did.
You didn't have to throw me under the bus.
Yes, I did.
No, but I have seen that in here before, by the way. So I
No,
don't.
you haven't.
I have. Maybe it's in Minix's office.
It's not.
But let's talk about that though. The fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, James Harden will always quit. He quits on his teams. I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong about that. That's fine. But there are iconic moments of James Harden with us going up against the Spurs. And Manu Ginobili stuffing him is one of the most iconic memories I have of a Spurs fan.
He showed up last night, though.
He did.
They stole it.
Last night. Knocked down the game-winning three-pointer. Philly won without Joel Embiid. Stole game 1 in Boston. He showed up. He showed up.
So if I'm a Philly fan, I am throwing him a parade for game 1
at this point.
Wait
Filling
for 4 more games to make that final decision.
No, what's going to end up happening is if the going gets rough for James Harden, he will wilt. That's the thing. He's a front runner. He does well if they're winning, but if they're not, he's not going to be that guy to carry them in game 6 or game 7. This is game 1. Now, after last night's game, he sounded very confident after nailing that game-winning 3-point shot.
I don't need to make a statement. Like, what happens internally, like with the 76ers organization, coaches, my teammates, what they expect me to do, all throughout the course of the year was, be a facilitator and get Joel the basketball and, score when necessary. Joel wasn't here tonight, you know what I mean? So, and we knew that going into this series, and now it's like, all right, open the floor, James, you go be aggressive. And tonight I was aggressive. So it's not that I'm not capable of doing it. It just, this is my role for this team. Now, if you want me to do this tonight, then I can do that as well. And I don't think a lot of players can do that. So, yeah.
James Harden, I mean, arguably one of the best point guards of the last 10, 15 years. The guy is a very, very good player. The fact of the matter is, though, is that he wilts in the playoffs. That is my problem with him. Stick up for your man, Pledger.
No, I'm still trying to get your rationale. Because you won't call Steph Curry a point guard because he shoots. Yet what is James Harden known for doing more than anything else?
Shoot.
Again, headlines over integrity. It's not like he shot a lot yesterday. Oh, wait, he had 30 attempts. 17 for 30, but he nailed 7 3-pointers last night. 6 assists.
So what's your point?
My point is this, is that there's certain players that San Antonio hates. Mario Cavazos reaches out on Twitter and says, wait a minute, you forgot a player. San Antonio hates Kawhi Leonard the most. That is accurate.
That's true.
That is number 1. And we'll put that together with Zaza Pachulia, who I don't even think is in the league anymore. That is number 1 in 1A. Thank you for the TLC drop. Love it. But James Harden is up there. I don't think San Antonio hates Chris Paul. I hate Chris Paul.
I'm still just trying to figure out why y'all hate James Harden. Nobody's ever given me a straight answer on it.
Reach out to us on the Kilbasa Smoke Meats phone line, 656 ESPN.
We might find out that only
656
Mike Jimenez hates.
Why does San Antonio hate James Harden? You can also reach out to us on Twitter. I'm at Mike ESPNSA. Spence is at Spence ESPNSA. You can also follow us on San Antonio Sports Star. So,
I mean, I get hating him as a Rocket, as Rudolph Gonzalez and Joey Fernandez mentioned on our YouTube live feed. Like, I get that. He was a rival at that point.
Yeah.
But the sheer vitriol that you have for James Harden.
So you're saying it's just me?
I've never understood.
We haven't seen anybody calling yet, so it sounds like just you.
Just because people are having lunch right now and they're chewing on their food. But Rudolph reaches out and says, I only hated James Harden as a Rocket. Joey says, I only hated Harden as a Rocket. Crap.
So in other words,
that's nonsense.
So in other words,
get that.
It travels, baby.
So in other words, once again, your take is
I was wrong.
sliding on the wall.
No,
it's just about down to the floor.
No, it's not, because it's being held up by an award-winning plaque. But
jump back, want to kill myself.
That is so true right there.
That was alley-oop right there, baby. Alley-oop.
That is so set up perfect.
I cannot wait for about a week and a half from now when we hear that James Harden exits a game because he gets frustrated and he goes 6 for 24 shooting. And I cannot wait for that, because it's going to happen. Tonight, the most valuable player will be named in the NBA.
I've been talking about that every update.
James Harden's teammate, Joel Embiid, is the Vegas favorite right now to take home the hardware, followed by Nikola Jokic, who's the back-to-back MVP award winner.
Yeah, Jokic said last night, who gives a rip about the MVP?
Yeah, he's
not going to win.
He's saying that because he knows he's not going to win.
Yeah.
There's always been a straw poll already out there showing that it should be Embiid. Giannis will be up there as well, but I personally think that people just got tired of giving the award to Jokic.
Yeah, there, to an extent, he got screwed by the fact that, you know what, 2 times is one thing, 3 times is another. Let's find somebody else. And it always go. Yeah. Now we'll see how far the 76ers go. See how far the Nuggets go. Maybe it'll be true. Maybe it won't.
Rudy reaches out to us on our
Rudy J?
YouTube stream. Says
Rudy J?
a different Rudy.
He was
says Mike is a mess today. Steph is not a point guard. Okay, so let's define this real fast because if James Harden's not a point guard,
No,
and Steph
you
is not
said
a
he was.
Okay, I'm just putting it down in the sense of like he's not a traditional point guard.
This is what
just
you get
like
for
Steph isn't.
This is what you get for going on vacation for
Let
3
me come
days.
back from a rabbit hole here.
No.
Okay, come back from the rabbit hole. Hopefully the whiskey's out of my system from the past couple of days. That being said, I like the traditional point guard. Okay, whatever I see right now, it's a little bit strange. It's foreign. I'm not used to it yet. That is me getting older. I'm looking at this going, when I think of Steph, I think of a shooter. When I think of Harden, I think of a shooter. But Harden does pass the ball more often and does get more assists per game, I would assume, than Steph Curry. But someone's going to point that out and go, well, it's about the same. So you're saying to me that the hatred I have for Chris Paul III and the hatred I have for James Harden is just something for me and me alone at this point.
I've seen two tweeters and nobody else has called, even though you gave the phone number out.
Fine enough. Fair enough. I stand by my work.
So is the
I mean, you
alcohol-
can stand by it, but just stop lumping in all of San Antonio with your own
San
personal
Antonio
thought.
hates him.
Well, I remember the vitriol that San Antonio had when he was with the Rockets. I just assumed that it carried over.
So much
Why would it not?
So how much alcohol still is in your blood right now?
Oh, the amount of Crown Royal that was had this weekend was a lot.
The amount of sleep you had too. It just
I had about an hour and a half sleep tonight, last night.
Well, whose fault is that?
And there's no credit given for the fact that Harden has humbled himself in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And taken the secondary role.
What about that? What about that?
And every once in a while, he hands the ball off to Tyrese Maxey.
So what do you say now, Mr. Hater?
I'll find a reason to get pissed off about tonight's Warriors-Lakers game. That's all I know. I'll find a reason why.
Because Steph's going to be dribbling the ball, trying to be a point guard.
Oh, my God, dude. Steph was just amazing in the last game. Whatever position you want to call him, he's a little. But I remember back in the day when he got drafted, it was all about his ankles, right? He has weak ankles, and because of those weak ankles, he'll never be able to make it big in the NBA. I remember that on draft night. Steph Curry proving a lot of people wrong, dude. He gets another title. He's top 7 all time.
Where's Duncan then?
He'd be in the mix right around there too.
You accused him of kicking Duncan to the curb. Now he's like, well, Duncan will be right there with him.
I think he kicks Magic to the curb. I think he kicks Magic to the curb. I got to rework my my pantheon.
I think it does. I think we need to go back and rearrange the deck chairs on this Titanic.
So what
dig a hole.
What have I said here? Steph knocks Tim Duncan for all-time top 10. Duncan is top 5. Duncan is right at 5 for me, 4 or 5. But does Steph go above him? Hate to say it, but it's true. Then Steph's not a point guard. He's just a guard, man. It's just the way that things roll. And then Harden is a point guard. Get it together, my man. Dude, I had an hour and a half sleep, my man.
Oh, so now.
My bad.
Oh, okay.
So just today's bad takes are because you haven't slept. What about the rest of, the time you've been behind a mic?
Still here, baby. I'm still here. That is Tim Spence. I'm Mike
We're running late, dude. You gonna find a way to get off this ramp?
Yeah, let's get off the ramp right now. Heard an interesting podcast today asking the question, choose your fighter and kick one out. Greatest movies of all time. Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise. If you had to kick one out and never watch any of their movies again, which one would you kick out? You can catch us on Twitter. I'm at Mike ESPNSA. Spence is at Spence ESPNSA. Pleasure is at I Am Pleasure. We'll be back.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Today at 3.
Coming up at 3 on The Blitz, what were the Cowboys thinking? Well, Will McClay knows. We'll ask him.
Yep, the Cowboys VP of Player Personnel will join us at 4:30, plus Shireen Williams at 5:30. The Blitz starts at 3.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Today at 3 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know the Roo Pub knows how to throw a party, and this Sunday, May 7th, the Roo Pub will kick off their 10-year anniversary celebration with a massive crawfish boil. For $15, it's all-you-can-eat crawfish from Big Boy's Barbecue with all the fixins and live music. The party starts at noon. Bring your friends and come hungry. All-you-can-eat crawfish this Sunday at the Roo Pub in Angry Elephant, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Having McDonald's breakfast is delicious. Having someone else get you McDonald's breakfast is delicious-er. Right now, get a baked breakfast with hotcakes for just $4.99, only at McDonald's. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Grand slam, bomb, went yard, long ball, dinger. Do you even know what I'm talking about, Nigel?
Croquet.
Nigel, I'm talking about baseball. Courtroom plumbing and air conditioning is a lot like a baseball team.
Should we wear cups, Joel?
When a person has plumbing problems or their air conditioner just isn't cooling right, they can rely on our team to make the big plays. We hit it out of the park every time. Call Quarter Moon Plumbing and Air Conditioning, day or night, 651-5899.
Joel, should I start singing now? Take me out.
License number M16004, DACLA 0007435.
Live life to the fullest. You hear it all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, it's James Pledger with 941 San Antonio Sports Star, and QC Kinetics is in the business of giving people back their quality of life and providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing so in the most non-invasive way possible using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. Where's your joint pain? In your knees, hips, shoulders, or back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. And best of all, you walk into the office and then right out after treatment. No surgery, no downtime, and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Finally being able to play golf again, hike, walk your dog, enjoy time with your family? Whatever it is, don't wait another day. Get started today with a call to QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
I was in a terrible car accident. I suffered a traumatic brain injury and also injured my spine. My daughter-in-law called Jeff Davis. After expenses and attorney fees, I received $86,559. I want everyone in San Antonio to know Jeff was here for me.
I'm Jeff Davis. If you were injured by a car or large truck, call me at my San Antonio office at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. There's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Live on the Zone pay-per-view, the King is coming home. Undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez returns to his city to defend his titles against John Ryder. It's all on the line. Witness the historic homecoming May 6th, live only on DAZN pay-per-view. Sign up at DAZN.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs. This is Twin Peaks.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play Jimenez and Spence on San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Let me have some irrational hate from time to time.
I was just thinking out loud here earlier. Me, like all of San Antonio, we hate just, for people to take shots at players, just to take shots at players. I mean, everyone in San Antonio believes what I believe. What do you believe, Mike?
Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 just tweeted out there. Did Jimenez just say that Steph Curry is ranked higher in the all-time greats list over Tim Duncan? I did not say that. What I said was Curry gets ring number 5 this year. It's an argument to be had. He might actually win that argument.
See that slop of dung on the side of the wall there?
Mm-hmm.
That's
still sticking.
It's sliding
still sticking.
down.
No
the
one
wall.
wants to hear it, but it's gonna
sliding down.
It's gonna be a national thing that people will
Oh
discuss.
yeah, national thing. Just top of the list.
I can just see
top of the list.
I can see Stephen A. Smith ranking. Here are my new top.
I can't wait to hear from Greeny.
my new list of top 10 players of all time.
Greeny's going to be all over it tomorrow. I just can't wait to hear it at 10 o'clock.
Not tomorrow. Sometime in June.
Right.
Book it.
Right.
I'm a trendsetter, baby. I'm a trendsetter. So I was flying back from Florida this morning. Again, the flight took off San Antonio time at 4:10 a.m. Made my way back home, had a 2-hour layover in Houston, and I was listening to a podcast, and the podcast was about movies. And we've debated in the past Tom Hanks and his greatness, from Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, all the movies going all the way back to Bachelor Party if you want to. Now you go to, say, Tom Cruise, and you have all these action movies, and he came back to life with Top Gun Maverick last year, and all those movies that he's had, Color of Money, Days of Thunder, all the movies that he's had. And they were debating whether or not, who was better than the other. And I think it's a funny argument to have because they're both great. And it's like choose your fighter. But someone chimed in saying, for that 15-year period there, let's say between 1987, 88 to about 2003, someone came on and said, actually, the greatest actor of that era was neither Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks. It was Denzel Washington. And he asked the question, if you had to kick one of their filmographies out the door and never watch again, which one would it be?
I think it's Tom Cruise.
It's you just broke Pledger's heart. He just screamed, no.
Why would it not be Tom Cruise? Who's done some really good movies, but you put him in the three top movie makers, not necessarily just actors, but movie makers. So then who would be 1 and 2?
Well, let's talk about this real fast because let's go through his list of movies from that era.
Who?
Top Gun, Color of Money, Cocktail, Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, Days of Thunder, A Few Good Men, Interview with a Vampire, The Firm, Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire, Magnolia, which he won an Oscar for. Then he had Mission Impossible, Vanilla Sky, Minority Report, and Collateral. That's basically the 18 to 20-year run that he had there. Tom Hanks, though, Tom Hanks's filmography is very, very vast as well. But the thing is that it's also possible that he was kind of pigeonholed into having certain roles. He had to always be the good guy, whereas Tom Hanks didn't have to do that. So let's go with Tom Hanks. He goes in that period with Big, Bonfire of the Vanities, A League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, Apollo 13, Toy Story, That Thing You Do, Saving Private Ryan, You've Got Mail, Toy Story 2, Castaway, The Green Mile, Road to Perdition, Catch Me If You Can, The Terminal, Polar Express. That's a very, very Da Vinci Code, very stout 20-year run. But then you go to Denzel Washington. And that is the thing about it is that when you look at the different movies that are done, is it all about the quantity of movies that they did that were good, or is it the quality of movies to you?
Quality. Denzel's the best. Well, then read that.
So right around 1989, because that's when Glory came out. He was amazing in Glory. Very few movies make me cry. Okay. Field of Dreams will make me cry from time to time. But Glory, when he gets killed, defending, as a Union soldier.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, it's a 30-year-old movie. There's no spoiler alerts there. But also the time when he gets whipped as well, and you see that he already had been whipped in the past. That just brings a tear to my eye. But you go through other movies out there where Mo Better Blues, Mississippi Masala, Ricochet, Malcolm X, Much Ado About Nothing, Pelican Brief. He was in Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. Crimson Tide, Courage Under Fire, The Preacher's Wife, He Got Game, The Siege, The Bone Collector, The Hurricane, Remember the Titans, Training Day, John Q, Antoine Fisher, Man on Fire, Manchurian Candidate, American Gangsta, Flight. I'll take Denzel over the other two all day, every day. I agree with you.
I just said that, yeah.
But it's just one of those things that it doesn't come to mind. Sometimes it's like you take a look at the box office totals, because the box office totals of Tom Hanks's movies are huge because of because of Forrest Gump and Toy Story. And then you see the box office totals of Tom Cruise when it comes to the Mission Impossible movies and the Top Gun movies. You think that they're great simply because they have the large numbers. But the better movies by far. Training Day, what a great movie. I'm going to watch that tonight again. I haven't seen that movie in years.
It's he won an Academy Award, Best Actor. I don't think it was his best acting movie.
No.
But it was something so different in the world of the roles he's played before that a serious bad guy. And I think it got people's attention.
It did. And it showed the versatility of what he can do.
Yes.
By the way, if you go back and watch the movie Glory, there is the free African American who's highly educated in that movie, very nerdy, that they make fun of, who does join the Union Army. Later on in life, he became the commander in one of my favorite TV shows, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine for years and didn't realize that it was that actor. Andre Brower, I believe is his name. God, I love that show. Another hour of Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We'll be back in 10 seconds.
This is San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM, Floresville, and always at ESPNSA.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Yeah, I don't like him, but James Harden knocked down the game-winning three last night as the Sixers shocked the Boston Celtics in Game 1 of their series, 119-115. Tonight, it's Steph versus LeBron, Game 1 of the Western Conference semis. Warriors favored by 4.5 points. And take a look at those Texas Rangers. They bounced back, won 3 in a row, back in first place. Start a series tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Sports Center is brought to you by Kielbasa Slow Crafted Sausage, available at your local grocery stores.
Mike Jimenez,
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Tim Spence.
Victory! Cowboys win!
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hour number 3 of Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, on the go at ESPNSA.com. We are streaming on YouTube. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star. Spence, how's your day, man? How you feeling?
It's I told you how I feel about Tuesday. I don't like them.
Yeah, Tuesday's the worst day of the week.
The worst day of the week. Because it's not Monday. You're energized after the weekend coming off the NFL draft. Why would you not be? I mean, you got the NBA playoffs and stuff, but it's not the hump day. Thursday feels like you're on the home curve before Friday. Friday's Friday.
Right.
Tuesday's
Thursday's
the worst.
Friday Eve.
Yeah, and Tuesday's just the worst day of the week.
Only thing that saves it, if you have tacos, and it becomes Taco Tuesday. That's the only way that it'll save it. But Spence, you asked me something yesterday when I was in Florida. You asked if I was a fisherman. Are you a fisherman?
Oh, come on. After what we talked about yesterday?
No, I don't know if you were faking it or not.
Oh,
you lived in Tampa long enough.
Really?
Did you fish more in Tampa or the lakes and rivers of Colorado?
Oh, going away in Florida. I mean, dude, I lived for 3 years in Minnesota, so yeah, 10,000 lakes. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's a different fishing in Minnesota, but I trust me when I start throwing out bait options, you should tell you right off the bat that I know what I'm talking about. I mean, I tried to
I
suggest.
just thought you were hungry.
I tried to give you some suggestions. Drop the freaking minute or sardines. Okay, yeah, this is this is the ocean. Okay, and stop being queasy when it comes to I have to touch the sardines and put them on the hook. And then we went from one sardine to
It
two
is
sardines.
queasy, dude. I mean, it's just unnatural, but I'll do it anyway, because I have fun out
Did you
there.
take the sardines out of the can or put the can on too?
That's was the problem. That they were already dead.
That's the problem.
They were
Wow.
pickled. No, but I need to go back over there to Florida because there's certain places that you go to that you go once and you want to go back over and over and over again. Most recently, and tell me if you like any of these cities. My wife and I went to Seattle last year for our wedding anniversary.
You've been to Fisherman's Wharf up there?
Yes, yes.
It's a must see.
It was beautiful. The Museum of Pop Culture, the Mopop Museum was amazing. Last year we went to San Diego, and I had never been to San Diego before, and I fell in love with the whole that area where all the seals are and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Seal Beach or something like that.
No, it's Coronado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. My wife and I love going to New Orleans. That is one of our favorite places to go because we like to eat.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with New Orleans. It's probably the best place to go if you want to eat and drink.
Now, what are some places that you've been to? And I'm putting you on the spot.
Yes, I have no idea where you're going with this.
Yes, because this is called banter. So, some places that you've gone to in the past where you think to yourself, "I'm never gonna go there again." Like, I unless I have to because of work. Like for me, I think I'm done with New York City. I've been there too many times. I've been there 4 or 5 times in my lifetime. I loved it every single time. But if you said, Jimenez, you're never gonna go to New York again, I'd be okay with that.
I've never been a big New York City fan ever since the 69 Mets took my Cubs out. The Black Cat, the Miracle Mets 69. But when Trade Center went down, I think everyone rallied around New
Mhm.
York. So there's a time and place for everything, but I don't strive to go to New York. If I'm going to take one place though, as I scan the hinterland, I probably would say somewhere near that New York surrounded because there's a New York attitude that unless you're a New Yorker and can appreciate the fact that I'm always late for something,
Mhm.
there's no patience. Everyone's running over each other. There could be something going on in the streets. They make fun of it in movies sometimes where someone's getting shot and everyone just keep going like there's
Like nothing happened.
nothing's happening, nothing's going on here. I'm just going to keep on going. It's the typical New Yorker.
Like I've never been to Boston, but I hear people either love it or hate it.
I love Boston. I adore Boston. It is one of the greatest places to go ever. From the clam chowder to walking down. My wife and I went there when I spent some time in the Northeast. We went there and it was President's Day weekend. And I'm telling you, it's 10 below zero. And in the humidity, it's cutting through you like knives. We had the time of our life walking the historical landmarks downtown. We froze our butts off, but still had a tremendous time in Boston. You just can't. It's wonderful.
I'm big into the historical stuff. I mean, I will sit there and read every placard and everything that's out there for it. That's why I enjoyed Philadelphia. I went to Philadelphia for the first time last year. Loved it. One city that I will not want to go back to is Miami. Miami, love Tampa. Miami is
It's a little dirty.
pretentious. I had fun at Cayo Ocho and going to Little Havana and all that stuff. That was cool and seeing them, wrap the cigars and all that in front of you and
You can do
play
that in
checkers.
Tampa.
Yeah, but there was just something there that I just didn't like. Corral, which was fine. But
see any pythons?
Did not. No,
they're out of control. You literally can sometimes drive the road at the middle of the night and see a big old 12-footer come rolling out.
Snakes and alligators, my man. I hate those things.
I hate alligators, but now they're the second coming of my favorite because they take out the pythons.
The alligators, though, I've gone on the alligator tours with my wife.
Uh-huh.
They're like, here, hold the alligator. Like, I don't know, it's like a 3-footer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm good.
They got the mouth taped.
But my wife picks it up. No big deal. And I'm like, that's just gross. But we've had a little bit of a spirited debate today about my hatred for certain players. I'm not a fan of Chris Paul III. I think he's completely overrated.
And all of San Antonio is right behind with you.
Well, no, I'm not saying all of San Antonio. I think a lot of San Antonio will respect the take that I have that Tony Parker has had a greater career than Chris Paul III. Both will have something in common. Both will be first ballot Hall of Famers.
So now you're supportive of Harden?
No. But
sound like you're making the turn to have a flip-flop. We're in the middle of flip-flop here, people.
I'm sorry. I'm missing the point where he's making it this huge deal that all of the city that a San Antonio Spur fan lives in will respect the take that he thinks that a Spur is better than a consensus player that most other people in NBA believe.
Yeah, at the end of the day, scoreboard. Kielbasa Smoke Beats phone line 656 ESPN 656-3776. We got Isaac. Hey, he wants to talk about James Harden. What's going on, Isaac?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing good, my man. Back me up, baby.
So this is my take on James Harden. I don't doubt the guy's talented. The thing about him that I remember the most is when we did have DeJounte Murray on our team. I remember there was a play. DeJounte was making a fast break to lay up the ball, and Harden pushed him from behind, and that's when DeJounte Murray got injured. And I just really felt like he was a very disrespectful player, very dirty player, doing little things like that. Same thing with Chris Paul. I'm sure he's a very talented point guard. That's probably not, debatable, or you can debate whether or not he's a great basketball player, but dirty for sure. And I think a lot of San Antonio fans, I guess you could throw maybe Bruce Bowen under the bucket like that if you wanted to, but
no, you could. He was dirty.
All right, thanks, Isaac. I think his last name is Jimenez.
Jimenez, right?
Yeah.
No.
Another Jimenez to the radio station.
I have 76 first cousins. I wouldn't doubt it, but I don't know any of them named Isaac. But Isaac, thanks for listening. Thanks for calling in. CP3 being a dirty player, very legit.
Okay, so you got one guy on your side, dude. One guy and a couple of people that tweeted in, yeah, you're right, Jimenez. But all of San Antonio, right there with you.
You know what?
Right there, baby. Right there.
I speak for the people. Kielbasa Smoke Beats phone line, 656 ESPN. We've got Mike wanting to talk about cities that he does not ever want to return to. What's going on, Mike?
Mr. Jimenez, I enjoy the show. I'm going to tell you one thing, buddy. The one city, I've been there once, and it was one time too many, Los Angeles. Two simple reasons. One, you're in front of Vans Chinese Theater, and crack Spider-Man expects you to pay $20 for the pleasure of taking a picture of your family with him. No thanks. Two, you're walking down the same area. It turns into adult bookstore, really weird adult bookstore, T-shirt shop, adult bookstore.
What is the address of that?
Seen it enough, brother. It was the worst place for me to go. You guys have a great show.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for calling in.
You missed the line. Jump back, kiss myself. What's the address? What's the address of that again?
No. Okay. So the thing about LA is that there's touristy LA and then there's beach LA. Beach LA is fine, and if you go from
so you're not going to Oxnard with us, huh?
Santa Ana,
So you just said we got to go through LA. You're not going to Oxnard. No, you're not going to Oxnard.
Oxnard's
now.
on the beach, my man.
You got to go through LA to get to Oxnard.
I can survive a 45-minute drive.
So within reason.
But what I'm saying is that he's talking about Hollywood, right? And Hollywood, that area right there where the Man Theater is and the Walk of Fame, that is so cheesy. And I don't know why so many people go, but we did have fun at Universal Studios. We've had fun when we had that Emmitt Smith party there in Hollywood. That was pretty nice. But I will fly into LAX to make my way into Oxnard, but my family all over there. You know, a lot of my family's in LA. So, see, people coming to my rescue.
People,
yes.
I'm not sure that was
a few people on Twitter and a caller.
Yeah, and a caller.
Is
Yeah.
people.
We got one.
I got peeps.
We got one.
I got peeps. And one of my peeps, one of our peeps, is RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys. I love me some RJ Ochoa. He has the dry wit, the dry humor. I remember when I won Rock the Mic, and RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys is the original Rock the Mic winner. I remember the first time I made him laugh on air. And it was one of the funniest things that ever happened because I made him giggle, and that giggle turned into a laugh, which turned into him like slapping himself because he was laughing so hard. Very dry wit, and I realized that RJ Ochoa is like talking to my brother-in-law. They have the same personality, and I love me some RJ Ochoa.
So this comedy, when do you bring that out? Because I haven't seen that in the last they started in January.
Oh no!
So
you mute your mic whenever I make you laugh because you don't want it to ever come out.
So the comedy you're talking about, it's still to be had.
It's still to be had.
I can look forward to that down the road.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
Exactly. We're just 4 months in, baby. We're just 4 or 5 months in.
Want to kill myself.
Let's hear from RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys. We're going to talk about that second round draft pick that the Cowboys got, that tight end from Michigan. Spence can't stand that pick. We're going to hear from RJ Ochoa on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Viva La Brawl! Friday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo at the Techport Arena. R&R in the Morning have your tickets to see San Antonio's own Castaneda brothers, along with the Navarez versus Heinen fight, Destiny Jones versus Brittany Ordonez, and more. Listen to R&R in the Morning at 7:05, 8:05, and 9:05 for your chance to win. Just listen for the fight bell, and you could be on your way to Viva La Brawl. Plus, one lucky winner will get the ultimate upgrade to VIP ringside seats, along with plenty of swag. Presented by Davies Arena and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Buy tickets at daviesentertainment.com.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Have pain? Have chronic pain, low back pain, knee pain, neck pain, or shoulder pain? I can help. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we get to the root of your pain. We don't just give pain medications. We do the proper investigation to see what is the root cause, and it's covered by your insurance. Reduce your medication, avoid surgery, and get rid of pain for good. Call for your free evaluation. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, where we get to the root cause of your problem. 210-468-1891.
We're in the studio right now with Jose Rios from the Gomez Law Firm. Jose, tell us a little about Gomez Law.
Number one priority is to let the people know that we are a law firm that's been part of this community for almost 50 years. You know, Mr. Gomez, he's been a practicing attorney here since 1973. He's born and raised here in San Antonio, done nothing but help out personal injury victims for almost half a century. It's very important that we get that out to the San Antonio community, because a lot of these attorneys like to come in here and act like they're from here, but you know, they're all out of towners. They don't know what goes on here. They really don't know.
If you have been injured in an accident, injured at work, or hit by a company vehicle, don't take on the big insurance companies by yourself. Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere. And remember, Gomez Law fights.
If you have been injured in an accident, injured at work, or hit by a company vehicle, the first place you need to go is joegomezlaw.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's San Antonio area attorneys. Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Hey, it's Jason Jimenez, and this is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Rudolph Gonzalez reaches out to us on YouTube and says, Mike is the Mexican version of SpongeBob. Have no idea what that means. I thought if we're going to do the whole SpongeBob analogies here, Pledger is SpongeBob. I'm Patrick. That makes Spence Mr. Krabs. Dude, that's when you hit the button.
Jump back. Want to kill myself.
There you go. There you go. I set that one up for you, Pledge. I'm so disappointed.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah. I am number one. Thank you so much for that, Spence. I appreciate that.
It comes right from the heart. Right from the heart. Cap a number. Not just a little one, a number one.
We're talking Cowboys in this segment. We have a special guest. We have RJ Ochoa, managing editor over at bloggingtheboys.com, which is fantastic. Follow him on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. Also follow Blogging the Boys because, again, the Cowboys, the draft is over. It was a pretty decent draft for the most part. We have some questions about the tight end that they got. But the first question I have for RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys, what kind of letter grade did you give the Cowboys?
I did. I'm the only person who does anything like that. It's a really unique and original idea. I gave each pick a letter grade. Some were pluses and some were minuses, but as a whole, I gave the draft class a B. I do feel like there's a negative stigma with B. Like people think of B as like, oh, that's really, that's just like average or whatever. It's really hard. Like I think we make A's disingenuous. There should only be like 1 to 2 A's a year. It's really hard to have your draft class be an A.
Now, is Stephon Gilmore part of your draft analysis there? Because to me, Stephon Gilmore, Brandon Cooks, draft capital was used for them. I consider them part of the draft class in a weird way.
I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I wouldn't do that though. I wouldn't put DeAndre Swift as a part of the Eagles draft class. I mean, I know they executed the trade over draft weekend, whereas Dallas did it, prior to. The draft grade, I think, is as it relates to the players you did all the homework on, the way you played the board, the way you played the league, the way you gambled, the way you lost, the way you won, and the way you fulfilled whatever positions of need you had. And so, yeah, those are awesome moves objectively, but they happened a little bit further back, and so I think they're separate things.
Okay, RJ, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Cowboys decide not to move up. Decide to pass on 3 very obvious tight ends that went before. Why was Schoonmaker so, I guess, the right pick at number for the second round with the Cowboys?
I think, what made this draft so interesting was it was in no way chalk relative to what the Cowboys have talked about. And that's a new thing. For the most part, what they've said in the month leading up to the draft has been kind of like the Mordor's map in Harry Potter. Like you've been able to kind of follow it to a T with what they're going to do in the draft. But they bluffed a lot. I mean, they lied. I mean, they told us we're in love with Michael Mayer. We're going to have such a hard time turning him down. He was on board for them at 26, and they said no. And so I think that people marry themselves to one idea or one philosophy and say, you've got to draft for now. You've got to draft for the future. You've got to draft the best player available. When in reality, the truth is somewhere, maybe not 50-50 between, but somewhere in the middle of those two opposite ends. And so I think Luke Schoonmaker represents an answer in the here and now. He is, far and away a superior athlete to any of the tight ends on the current roster. And I think that that's lost. I think people see him and just see Dalton Schultz, just see your kind of run-of-the-mill tight end. I mean, the reality is that, he didn't play, for Tennessee. He didn't play for a team that threw the ball 1,000 times. I think Michigan averaged like less than 26, passing attempts a game. That's just not what they did. And so when you consider how he works and his athletic testing and the fact that he's now the best athlete playing the position for the Cowboys, I think he gives them an option to block on the running game, which is really important for them. And he gives them another option downfield. Everybody is so concerned or is so married to the idea that Jake Ferguson is the answer. When it comes to yards for the catch per reception, and we're talking about a really limited sample size because Jake Ferguson's only been in the NFL 1 year, he averaged like 2.6 yards before the catch per reception. So you're talking about a tight end that was only used on these crossing drag routes. I think Luke Schoonmaker is a guy that can get a little bit more vertical over the middle of the field. And as an athlete, I think he can handle himself a little bit better than some of the other players on the Cowboys roster.
Talking to RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys. So between now and Oxnard, what is the one position area that the Cowboys have to focus on when it comes to we need to get some bodies in and shore up that part of the team?
I mean, you can make an argument for kicker and as far as getting bodies in because they really don't have a viable option. I know that's not a sexy answer, but, the Cowboys didn't draft one and they didn't even sign one in undrafted free agency. They did sign Jonathan Garibay last year out of Texas Tech, and everybody thought that he would be the answer, and that kind of blew up in their face. Robbie Gould's the name that everybody wants to focus on, so maybe that is, the direction they ultimately go in. As far as, things they have to figure out, though, I don't think they'll bring in anybody new, but they, everybody thought like they're gonna draft one of these guards really high and get themselves a starting left guard, but they didn't. I mean, they passed on Steve Avila in the first round and reportedly didn't have too high of a grade on him. And they released some war room footage Sunday, where it showed them debating between Mozzie Smith and Matthew Bergeron, the guard who went to the Falcons at the top of the second round. And so they specifically decided that we're good. And then, in fact, in that conversation, Will McClay mentions that they kind of have enough options. So they have to figure out. I mean, and some of this is a good column. Some of it is a weird column. Is Tyler Smith going to play at left guard? Is he going to play at left tackle? What does that mean for Tyron Smith? If Tyler is at left tackle, who's your left guard? Is Terrence Steele going to be ready? If he's not ready, then who's playing right tackle? There's an awkward game of musical chairs that has to happen, and some of it is contingent upon health and other parameters like that.
Well, let's focus really on what you just talked about and break it down a little bit better for us, because I'm concerned that they pass on an offensive guard. You can talk about, offensive player that is multifaceted, can play different positions. Maybe there's a player out there that could have been a backup center and that has a guard potential. Bottom line, this offensive line needs support in some form or fashion. You talked about moving, 4 or 5 different pieces to the puzzle. By mid-season, they're going to have challenges. Every team does. So what are they going to be the answers when all of a sudden they're short 1 or 2 players?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on which, it's red pill, blue pill time. Morpheus is offering them to you, and you've got to decide, what adventure you really want. And so do you want to try this Tyron at left tackle thing one more time? Because it is kind of silly to say that, you would start week 1 and put a healthy Tyron Smith on the bench, but you kind of have to do that if you want to put Tyler Smith at left tackle. Now, that being said, if Terrence Steele isn't ready to go week 1, then Tyron is probably playing right tackle. But that's the awkward situation they found themselves in. Tyron's contract that they restructured works out really well for them, and they don't have to pay him a lot of money if he doesn't play. But if he doesn't play, they're obviously down that really, really good offensive lineman. And so I think they have to fully commit, and it sounds like they're willing to commit to Tyler Smith at left tackle. You got to hope and cross your fingers that Terrence Steele is available on the right side. And at left guard, they did sign Chumayoga in free agency. Got Matt Barniak. I mean, they have, 3 or 4 names, and I know that's not an optimistic kind of thing to lean on, but they do have, from a quantitative standpoint, bodies that they can play. And so they did draft a tackle with guard flexibility in the 5th round, and Asim Richards out of North Carolina. One of their higher-rated undrafted free agents, DJ Bass, has some guard potential out of Oregon. And so it could be one of those dudes, but that's probably their biggest hole right now.
I just hope that Schoonmaker at 58, ahead of Torrance, offensive guard from Florida at 59, does not come back to bite him, though.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair, and you can argue that they made the wrong decision. They reportedly didn't have as high of a grade on Torrance as kind of your consensus mock drafted. And while that maybe doesn't help either of us sleep better tonight, they have a pretty proven track record at evaluating offensive linemen, and they've earned the benefit of the doubt, and that's been a really popular phrase to say over the course of the last week or so. But, they do also have the option of playing Tyler Smith at left guard. And so, again, I find it interesting that they kind of chopped that up all the way up to the draft and that they didn't go down that road. And whether it was gamesmanship, whether it was reacting to the way things went, they seem comfortable at least moving forward with what they currently have.
With RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys, I believe the next big day in the NFL is May 11th. Next week, that's when they release the schedules for all the different teams. We do know that the Cowboys are going to be playing the teams from the AFC East. I'm looking forward to seeing that Buffalo game. Is that Buffalo game going to be in October, or is it going to be in December? Big things like that. But for me right now, and if I'm thinking wrongly, let me know about this. But I'm looking at the Cowboys right now, and I personally believe that the team is better now in May compared to what it was in January because of Stephon Gilmore, because of Brandon Cooks, and because of the draft that they had. I think that they're a better team now. But the schedule is going to be so much harder compared to what it was last year that, in my opinion, we could see a team that is actually better on the field, but might not win 12 games. Do you see that as a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really fair. And for what it's worth, to your point, they visit Buffalo. So, I mean, when that game is a big factor just because of weather conditions. And
right.
That's not the case with other games. But, yeah, I mean, sorry to pledge, but the Cowboys were fortunate to play the AFC South last year, which was the worst division in the NFL. And so the whole NFC East did. And I don't think that's a coincidence with at least partly why there were 3 teams from the NFC East in the playoffs. And to be fair, all of them won a playoff game at the very least. There were 3 of the Final 4 teams in the divisional round on that side. But, yeah, I mean, you got to play the AFC East, and the Jets got better. The Dolphins are still lurking. The Patriots are always Patriots, and the Bills are really tough. I mean, you got to play the NFC West this year. I mean, the Cardinals look really bad, but the Rams figured to bounce back. The Niners have the Cowboys number, and the Seahawks have one of the best drafts of anybody in the class. Now, you don't have to play the first place schedule that you had to play last year, but you got to play the Lions. They're a very good team. You got to Michael Jimenez, the Saints, and we all know that they can get cute once or twice in a while. And then,
Justin Herbert.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. That's the thing. You got to play the Chargers too. And so you just never know how things are going to break. Sometimes you get lucky. I mean, when are you going to play certain teams, or are you going to be back from injury or whatever? But yeah, I think that they're a better team. I think that they've closed the gap with the Eagles. I think regression will come for the Eagles in some senses, but I think it'll come for the Cowboys too. I mean, they did not suffer at the hands of regression last year as far as takeaways and sacks. I thought they were totally due to suffer for that. And it seems like they did adjust for that. That's why, I think a lot of people are so high on them. They've proven that they're a team who can, be a playoff team 2 years in a row, which is a super low bar to clear. But they're trying to restore some order after 3 decades of futility.
That is RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys. Thanks for being with us. Again, follow RJ on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. You can also follow him at Blogging the Boys. Does a fantastic job. Up next, we're talking about the NBA playoffs. LeBron, Steph Curry tonight. Let's give a prediction. This is Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Green Bay Packers reached a one-year extension with quarterback Jordan Love. It's a $22 million deal. They got this done 1 week after trading Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Big game tonight for the New York Knicks. They try to even up the series against the Miami Heat. Got to stop Jimmy Butler first. And tonight, the NBA will announce who's the MVP for 2023. Joel Embiid is considered the favorite.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's San Antonio area attorneys. Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-497-9090. That's 800-497-9090. 800-497-9090.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA member FDIC.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe.
Eesh.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day.
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
All guests appearing on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star appear on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. On the go at ESPNSA.com. We're taking you to 3 o'clock today. Jason and Joe got the blitz from 3 to 7.
6:30.
Dang it, I always get it wrong. It's always that Monday morning detail that I get wrong. I know it's Tuesday, but I wasn't here. But
yeah, let's.
Is it because at
Only
6:30
he had a calendar with invites on it.
Is it because at 6:30 we have the Heat and Knicks, or is it Texas Rangers today? Educate me.
Texas Rangers tonight.
First place
on
Texas Rangers.
94.1, and at 6 o'clock, it's the 76ers and Knicks on ESPN 1250.
If only this information would have been in the Sports Center updates at the bottom of the hours, and he would have heard them.
Which it has been for the last 3 hours when I did them. And if you go to the calendar, that
I'm
everyone
so tired.
That everyone, I think I can speak for. I don't speak for everybody in San Antonio like some other people do, like you. But if I could speak for everybody in San Antonio this one time, at 3 o'clock, get the hell out of here. Go home and get some freaking sleep.
I speak for everybody in San Antonio when I say that Almond Joy is the greatest of all the candies, right? So I speak for people.
Okay,
randomness, just randomness. That was for Pledge, but more of an inside joke because he knows how much I know how much he hates that. But tonight we got 2 games of the
There's
NBA.
a great reason to bring it up.
We got the Heat and Knicks.
Hey, by
Dude,
the way,
sometimes
Pledge. Hey, listen, I know that you don't really like sodas, but anyway, hey, listen, I'm gonna have some soda tonight.
Dude, sometimes Pledger gets in my ear. I don't know if it's going over the air or it's just for my ear. I can't distinguish the two sounds.
Okay, you've been in radio for how long?
Not long enough. Tonight, Heat and Knicks. 21 minutes, man. We got 21 more minutes of this.
Well, it might be longer than that.
It feels like it.
I mean, the boys are running a little bit late. It might be a little bit north of past 3 o'clock.
Again, yeah, because they're doing an interview and we might bleed into the 3 o'clock hour. So what do you say we talk a little bit of sports? All right. Heat and Knicks tonight.
Get out of this
It's on one of our stations. One of our stations. It's ESPN 1250. You've got the Heat up 1-0. The Knicks are favored by 6.5 points tonight. Who you got? I got whatever team Jimmy Butler plays for.
Is he playing to the level he was playing on Sunday?
Well, he didn't put up 50 points or 42 points. He was 25 in his last game, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, but he was still now hobbled by a rolled ankle, and he didn't look good when he left the game on Sunday, even though they won.
This is a series that if Jimmy Butler's fully healthy, I think they dispatch the Knicks pretty easily. But again,
in general, you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, Knicks went red hot in the first half. I mean, what's his face on ESPN was just raving about the fact that it was the best he's ever seen. The Knicks and Knicks and Knicks and Knicks, and then they went absolutely ice cold in the second half. Stephen A. You with me? Or you reading the phone?
No. I'm looking up the injury right now. Shams Charania from The Athletic says that he was told that Jimmy Butler wants to play. He's going to try to play tonight. The sprain was not as serious as it appeared, and that they'll learn more in the coming hours leading up to the tip-off.
Well, Stephen A. was just like ecstatic the fact the Knicks are going to roll. The first half was nothing short of spectacular.
Oh, it's a New York team.
And then it literally was a crash and burn second half. I think the Knicks win actually tonight, but then they go down to Miami and get spanked.
Lakers Warriors tonight, game 1 of that Western Conference semifinal. This is a dream come true for the NBA to have LeBron James taking on Steph Curry, 2 West Coast teams. Golden State favored by 4.5 points. One of the interesting stats that I read earlier was that LeBron has never won a game 1 against Steph Curry. They usually the Warriors go out and they always go out and win game 1 against whatever team LeBron James plays for. I'm going to have the Warriors tonight based on that. But beyond that, it's just a better team. It's just a better overall team.
Why are you making bets based on historical? We're talking a dozen different players on 3 or 4 different teams. When it's all said and done, the Warriors are a better team.
The Warriors are a better team. They're a deeper team. And it's interesting when you look at the Warriors lineup because it's almost as though they have too much talent out there. You have certain players on that team who get frustrated by the fact that they're not getting enough playing time or they're not getting enough shots because, Steph has to take his 25 shots per game and Clay has to take his 18 and then Draymond chunks up his 12 to 14. And it's like, okay, what about Jordan Poole? What about these other players? But I'll tell you what, though, the one player on that team that I think is just as important as all the other players that we're talking about here is Looney. Dude, Looney has been out of his mind recently with the amount of rebounds that he got. Last game, 10 offensive rebounds for Kevon Looney. 21 total rebounds, 10 on the offensive boards. Dude, that guy is getting second and third chances for these guys, and you can't give Steph Curry a second chance at a three-pointer. You can't give Jordan Poole or Klay Thompson another chance to toss up a three-pointer. It's a cheat code, man. They're so good.
When's the last time you saw a team have offensive rebounds to the level that they have in the past and not end up winning the game? That is the lost art.
Great way of putting it. Great way of putting it. Here's Looney's last 5 games when it comes to rebounds. Tell me if this is good. 21, 13, 22, 14, 20.
Let me think.
If he's averaging 6 points per game.
It doesn't matter. He's not there to score.
Exactly. When you have Steph, Klay, Poole, and Draymond scoring buckets, you don't need to be scoring out
You
there.
get second and third shots in a possession. How do you lose that game? You don't.
You don't. 3 out of 5 games with 20 rebounds. You kidding me? This is a guy averaging like 18 rebounds a game the last 5 games. It's ridiculous. And he's going to go out there. He'll get 12 to 15. Anthony Davis, we're going to see how he holds up. I mean, this is a guy that's destined to be hurt. It always happens. I'm going to take Golden State in this series. I'm going to say Golden State wins this series in 6.
I say in 6.
The interesting part about this game, though, is the fact that I brought up the point.
San Antonio or you?
I brought up the point. I'm not speaking for San Antonio with this because, again.
Anymore or just now?
No, this is something that people have come at me on Twitter complaining about it all. Because I mentioned that on a national level, the national media would elevate Steph Curry above Tim Duncan in the pantheon, the all-time great list, if Steph Curry gets a 5th ring.
What happened was, because you mentioned this, and then all of a sudden San Antonio left you hanging at the altar.
I'm not going against what I'm saying.
But then you went outside and tried to get Reinagel to jump on your hand grenade, and he blew it up at the same time.
No, Reinagel was out telling me, he goes, there's going to be people, yelling at you in the parking lot. But it's true. I'm not saying it's right.
Is he following you
but
in the
it's
parking
true. Yeah. So is Reinagel follow me in the parking lot? I'm not sure. But it's the way the national media works, man. And there's a legitimate argument to be had if Steph Curry gets a 5th ring and you compare the 5 rings of Steph Curry to the 5 rings of Kobe Bryant to the 5 rings of Tim Duncan, it becomes an interesting argument to be had. There are a lot of people who believe that Kobe is a greater player than Tim Duncan. You see a lot of players when they do their Mount Rushmore or their top 10 lists, they will always put Kobe over Tim. And I never considered that to be factual.
Right. But you're coming from a San Antonio perspective. They're coming from a national LA Lakers perspective.
Right.
Okay. You're never going to win in that conversation. You're never going to win.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to prepare Spurs fans for if and when Curry gets a 5th ring.
I mean, look at Joker for the Nuggets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he deserve a 3rd MVP? Maybe, but it's freaking Denver,
right?
What free agents go to Denver out of just, hey, listen, I want to go play in Denver? No, they fly over the city as they're on their way to the West Coast.
It's flyover area, man.
Same with San Antonio.
The Spurs won, and it's funny because people are reaching out to me on Twitter. I'm at Mike ESPNSA if you want to get pissed off at me. Spence is at Spence ESPNSA because they're trying to put the resumes together. Well, Tim was this and Tim was that. I get it. I'm not saying that it's right. What I'm saying is that the national media will suggest that Curry is ranked higher than Duncan in the overall greatest of all time list because people are going to say, well, they had like 20 years of 50-win seasons. 5 rings, right? That is what? That is 99, 03, 05, 07, and 14. So that's 5 titles in 15 years. Curry got one in 2015, 17, 18, and 2022. So essentially he could get his 5 in less than a decade. And I know that there's a longevity thing involving Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, greatest Spur of all time. If I live another 45 years on this earth, the greatest Spur will still be Tim Duncan. I don't care what happens between now and then. I'm just preparing people from the fact that if Steph Curry wins another one and he gets number 5 and he matches Kobe, he matches Tim Duncan, it's just a conversation to be had that he's on the pantheon of the top 10 list. and some people will rank him higher than Tim. Just letting people know. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's amazing because if you look at the greatest players of the 21st century, we're forever being told that LeBron James is in the conversation for being the GOAT simply because of his longevity, the 10 times he's gone to the finals, 4 rings. But who are the 4 greatest players of the 21st century? In any particular order, it's Tim, Kobe, it is Steph Curry, and it's LeBron James, right? Well, what does one have to do with the other? Well, Tim owned, for the most part, LeBron. Steph has owned LeBron. But somehow LeBron is in the conversation as an all-time great. That's the one thing that I can't get over.
He's LeBron. He's LA. He's Miami. He's Cleveland. He's the points leader. He is LeBron. Right out of high school, the star. Everyone crowned him the king before he even said he was king. That's LeBron.
And he lived up to it, though. That was the thing, is that the lofty expectations that were had for him, that's what makes it amazing.
You left Jordan off there, but I won't get digress too far.
Well, no, I was talking about the 21st century.
Okay.
So since Y2K. But not trying to piss off Spurs fans, just preparing you guys. We're going to put a bow on the show on the other side, get you ready for the Blitz, which again goes from 3 to 6:30, according to my emails. We'll be back.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Today at 3.
Coming up at 3 on the Blitz, what were the Cowboys thinking? Will McClay knows. We'll ask him.
Yep, the Cowboys VP of Player Personnel will join us at 4:30, plus Shireen Williams at 5:30. The Blitz starts at 3.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Today at 3 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Chris Knippa with Connecticut. Connecticut, pure coincidence, but kind of cool, don't you think? I get hit with quirky quandaries and questionable catastrophes dealing with hard water calamities all the time. But I feel like King Knippa of Connecticut when I read the kind reviews from the Connecticut clients that love their Connecticut water system and no longer live in hard water calamity. Facts are, if you want to keep your appliances kicking and your kitchen clean and your skin kissable and your hair caressable and your entire home protected from crazy hard water crud, call me, Chris Knippa of Connecticut. For this month, you can save a caboodle of cash. We're closing out all of our current Connecticut models to make room for the new models, which means now is the absolute best time to save money on a Connecticut home water softener for your home. Schedule your free, no-obligation water analysis at 656 Pure or online at ConnecticutSA.com. Connecticut, 656 Pure.
The last water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here with Dwayne Sharping of Roof Fix. Hey, Dwayne, tell me about solar.
Well, you want solar to look beautiful. It's going to increase the value of your home. I mean, call us here at Roof Fix Solar Energy. Our solar is innovative. Our systems they install just like shingles. They're really powerful, and we can really cut out in the utility bill.
Call 210-FIX-ROOF. It's time for solar. He said it. I'm doing it. Call 210-FIX-ROOF. Put it on a roof. Save some money. Call Roof Fix today.
Roof Fix.
Home of the low price guarantee.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
When you're drinking a frozen beverage from McDonald's, your brain may not like how refreshingly cold it is, but the rest of your body, oh yes, it's gonna relish every moment of it, because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
There's no better way to cool down than with this cool deal. Get a medium frozen Coke, frozen Dr. Pepper, or frozen Fanta for just $1.79. Prices of participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
San Antonio professional boxing has reached new levels. We're less than a week out from Viva La Brawl at Techport Arena. Buy your tickets now at daviesentertainment.com and join the whole Sports Star crew on Cinco de Mayo at Viva La Brawl. San Antonio's very own Castaneda brothers, Kendo and Jairo Castaneda, are headlining a card that features Brown Navarez versus Daniel Heinen and Destiny Jones versus Brittany Ordonez, and more. Davies Entertainment Viva La Brawl this Friday, Cinco de Mayo at Techport Arena. Buy tickets at daviesentertainment.com.
The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away.
Lots of comments on YouTube. Again, we stream live on YouTube. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star. A lot of people reaching out to us saying, yeah, well, Steph Curry had a lot of Hall of Fame teammates. So did Tim Duncan.
They all did.
They all did. Magic did. Larry did.
Every championship team has 3 or 4 players you can sit there and say that's why. But there's always a cream of the crop. You could say Magic is the cream of the crop. You can say Michael Jordan's cream of the crop. You can say LeBron, Steph Curry. There's always one that rises to the top.
And it's interesting because there's beauty in the eye of the beholder type of thing going on with all these players. You know, Magic Johnson changed the way the game was played from the perspective of being flashy out there, Showtime Lakers. But he ran with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He ran with Byron Scott and with James Worthy. Some of these players were Hall of Famers, but beyond that, Michael Cooper, Kurt Rambis. On the other side, you can take a look at people who cheer on Larry Bird, who ran with Parrish and McHale and Dennis Johnson. They all run with good players. Isaiah Thomas wasn't by himself with the Bad Boy Pistons. Michael Jordan was not by himself. You know, Hakeem Olajuwon was not by himself. It's part of winning titles. And people are coming out to me right now saying, well, what about your whole take about how Tony Parker is greater than Chris Paul III? I understand Chris Paul III is somebody who has more assists. He is somebody who has a higher assist per game than a Tony Parker. But the greatest ability in sports is availability. And that is the problem with Chris Paul III, who's injured again. The 7th time in his career being injured in the playoffs.
He's 32, man. I mean, he's getting up there. So when you get up there, things start to break down a little bit.
It starts to happen. We had someone who reached out, I forgot the name, saying, yeah, well, Tony Parker was taken out of the finals one time.
Yeah.
And then never would happen to Chris Paul. Tony Parker was like 20.
Okay, but that caller, that texter makes a great point. Are you that jaded for Spurs versus the world? You know, so if you're not playing for the Spurs and you have an injury, how that happens. You're an injury-prone player on another team, and, you know, you become the Antichrist.
It's possible that if Chris Paul did play in a magical world, played with the Spurs, he would have been just as injury-riddled with us. There's not to say that wouldn't have happened. But it's funny because there are a lot of people who reach out and want to, like, throw shade over at Tony Parker, because Tony Parker, back in the 03 finals, was taken out of the game, was replaced down the stretch with Speedy Claxton. Who is Speedy Claxton? Well, Speedy Claxton was the backup point guard over here, and Speedy was the one who closed out the games in 03 when the Spurs won the title. It was Tony Parker's first ring. Tony Parker was so young back then, and the moment might have been a little bit too big for him, but he bounced back, was good in 05, won the title then, was the finals MVP in 07. So, yeah, he may have been young in 03, but by the time 07 rolled around, Tony Parker was an elite point guard for so long, a very undervalued point guard in the national eyes of things, because I think people think that this team was all about Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, don't get me wrong, came out of the gates, one of the greatest of all time, came out of the gates late 90s, early 2000s, but by 2007, this was Tony's team. I mean, Manu was the heart of it all, and the strength of it all was Tim Duncan. But at some point, the keys were given to Tony Parker. And when they won in 07 and 2014, that was Tony's team. It's not to take anything against Tim Duncan, but the way that this roster was created, it was a seamless transition. And people have oftentimes said that it was a handoff that the Spurs were trying to do between Tim and Kawhi, and that's not true. It was going to be a handoff from Tony to Kawhi because Tim was not always option number one down the stretch the last 6-7 years of his career. Not saying anything bad about him. It just showed how good that Tony Parker was. Tony Parker going to be enshrined in the Basketball Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer in a star-studded class for a reason, because he's an all-time great. But greatness happens in the postseason. You know that you're a big fan of Terrell Davis. Davis doesn't get those Super Bowl wins. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Of course not.
Of course not. And it's like that in sports. He has the hardware. And the career that he has, I mean, there have been great point guards throughout all the years, from John Stockton to Gary Payton to to CP3 to James Harden, who never sniffed a ring or never got close, or if they got close, they never grabbed that ring. And I think that Tony Parker got 4, and at some point you would think that people would consider him to be one of the all-time greats, but they don't. Kind of pisses me off. It's just a little bit bizarre.
What's coming up tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow we'll be talking about Steph against LeBron, and I hope it's a great game. You and I both predicted Warriors in 6.
I think it'll be a good game because I think, they're all coming now with their fresh approach. Second series. And it's that, everyone's got to step up. It's not like we just barely made the playoffs and now we're in the first round. We got to go prove ourselves against an unproven Memphis team, or the Kings are, light the lamp crap. It's the fact that these two teams are the Warriors that they are, excuse the pun, but I expect it to just be an all-out great game tonight.
Oh, I'm happy for the pun. I am approval of the pun. I'm still figuring out why I was called SpongeBob by somebody.
Everybody's rolling with it.
Everyone's rolling with it. I don't know what that means. Although we did have somebody come back and say that that you are not Mr. Crab, that you are Plankton.
I'm not sure which is worse. But thank you for the redirect.
So it's tonight a must-win game?
I have no idea what being called Mexican SpongeBob is. I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
They said that you weren't Patrick, but you're Squidward.
He was always cranky.
He was. Dude, SpongeBob was one of those cartoons where if I'm in the mood for it, I could watch for hours. But there are some times when you turn that on and after like 8 seconds, you're like, done. Turn that off. I cannot stand it. Beavis and Butthead was the same way.
No, I always loved Beavis and Butthead. I always had time for it.
Jason and Joe getting ready for the Blitz, 3 to 6:30.
We will see you tomorrow.
I'll have rest. I'll be rested.
Thank God.
I don't think he will.
Thank the good Lord.
Oh, but that LeBron game's going to end at midnight. Dang it. This has been fun. See ya.
It's Jimenez and Spence. Follow Mike Jimenez at Mike ESPNSA, Tim Spence at Spence ESPNSA, and always at ESPNSA.com.
Ever